Hello, everyone. I'm the okayest bassist, and this is the BASSics, Volume 75. There's been a bit of an interruption lately if you've seen the updates. Normally, this is a weekly podcast, but with Mother's Day, didn't have one. I was planning to on Father's Day, and then I was informed that there were plans made at my house involving me, so didn't have it on Father's Day. One week I was sick, so I didn't have it. So right now, this is a monthly podcast, I believe, since the last one. But who cares? I do this for free, so you should be happy. We have some friends en route. There are topics of discussion, and then it'll probably devolve into just general hanging out. Sneak peek for those who are here watching the live stream. I got this from the delightful Chris Volpini, who will be on shortly. It is a wonderful Reverend Mercalli 5. Fantastic. I really like this bass. He did updates to it. He put some Delano pickups, and then I put SIT flats, and then one of them broke. So it now has Labella flats, which I like. They're nice and slick, and I'm excited to play this at church, if not next week, the week after. So thank you, Chris. You can see some room here where normally there's a box leaning against the wall. I'm going to extend these boards. Don't tell my wife. I'm going to extend these boards probably to put a couple more hangers because Leah, Low and Lobster, is supposed to be sending me an intact and broken bass. And then there's another one that is currently, I believe, in the United States now, that is going to be making the rounds with hopefully a few of the folks in the little bass group that we have. for reviews because it deserves it. So that'll be pretty fun. Kind of touched on this last time, but the primary topic for tonight is that we are going to talk about companies that do things right, as in make a good product at a good price, hopefully ethically, uh, things like that. So one example, Reverend, they don't do for just an example, they don't do a Squire line that has, the non-heritage name, that they can make ultra cheap stuff like the debut series that seem to not be worth the money. Then the Sonic series that are pretty good, and then you have like the paranormal series that have some experimentation to it, varying ranges, but cheap to still affordable. And then, the Fender lines that are the made in Mexico, which are stupid priced now anyway. And then the USA, and then the custom shop. Reverend doesn't do that. They make a Mercalli. You can have your finish, and then from there there you go. They have a lot of artist models, which they just make the same one they give to the artist. It's not like a Gibson, then an Epiphone is what you can afford to buy. They give the same thing to the artist model as they give to the consumer buying that model. So that would be an example. I'm sure we'll talk about them. There are quite a few other companies out there. Trickfish, they make an excellent product. They do have multiple things. Like, you can get the Minnow, you can get the Trilobite. They have their Federa um, collaboration. You can get their amps, but they don't have like an intro line that are okay, and then like a premium line. Those kind of things. There's nothing wrong with stratifying to hit multiple price points, because let's face it, if like Reverend, if you go on Sweetwater to grab one of these, a brand new one's like, I think for the 5 strings, the brand new ones are 1,200, 1,300. You go on the used market, you may get super lucky around 6, but in most cases you're in the 800, 900 range. So like, there may be someone who's just starting out and their dream bass is a Reverend Mercalli. They may not have that. So they have to go with something less expensive. There's not a problem with a company having different introductory prices. Um, but when you try to cover too many bases, not, pun intended, I guess, when you're trying to cover too many levels, then you may end up having a problem where the market saturation isn't the best. Or could be the opposite. You could have so much saturation that, your quality gets blended from one to the other. Plenty of people know about the old Squires that were just amazing, and then now they have things like the Squire Debut that, for all intents and purposes, from everything I've seen of anybody, they're crap. So there is that. Speaking of crap, I mean the opposite of crap. The cream of the crap. It's Chris Volpini. The heck was that? Is that some sort of wizardry you got going?
You said cream of the crap. So
There you
the
are.
Randy Savage.
Ah, I didn't know that was a reference to anything. I was just trying to make a joke.
Oh yeah. Yep,
I
yep,
thought you
yep.
were doing the Crocodile Dundee thing.
So I got some stuff together for the discussion topic, and actually I got to get one more thing. Be right back.
Chris has brought props for our discussion today. I can see multiple props in the background. There is another prop. I have one prop. It might look familiar to Chris.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
this.
I the only reason I took the stock pickups out was everything was gold on there, but the pole pieces were still silver, and it drove me nuts. So I just got sealed pickups.
You didn't want to disassemble the pickup and take out the pole pieces and anodize them yourself and then put them back in and hope that nothing got broken?
Don't even know where to begin with that.
Fair enough.
Don't even know
We
where to begin.
we may have others who join, but I was talking about how the general topic of discussion that almost certainly won't devolve into just hanging out um, is the obviously reason that you have props with you.
Mm-hmm.
That companies who do things right, companies who do things well, companies who do things ethically. I touched
Yeah,
on
and I
Reverend.
don't have a representation of every company I plan to discuss, um, but I got almost everything.
Sure.
So,
Yep. I
um,
touched on Reverend, but you'll be a much better, more
yes.
knowledgeable on that.
So
I touched on Trickfish, like, I mean, smaller batch stuff, but they make a product, they stand behind it. They don't do a, hey, here's one that some
I have a
4-year-old in a
crazy
Chinese
story.
sweatshop.
Well, I have a especially pointed story about Trickfish, especially being really good about standing behind their product. Um, so, do we want to start with like doing it right, quote unquote, from a product standpoint, and then like going into the more like ethics and things like that?
I was just covering a broad stroke of each thing, saying how some companies do things
Well,
right on. They don't try to oversaturate the market with 15 price bands across multiple types of production. And then mentioned how some people make better products that they'll stand behind. I mean, any of
yeah.
it's all fair game.
So, you already brought up reverence, so we'll just start there. And for that, because this is like most of mine aren't stock. I've modded them just because I can't leave well enough alone, and I can't tell you how many times I end up just going back to the factory stuff, just because I just really wanted to try something. I'm thinking about doing that with my triad right now. Actually, I swapped the pickups, and honestly, I think the stock ones sound better. I think I was just trying to come to terms with the fact that I spent money and I wanted to like those better. But I put
Remind me
Delano pickups in
after.
it, and I
Remind me after.
hmm?
I know of a mod that you may want to look at for your triad.
Which I probably already did it. If it's what I'm thinking, you're gonna say the push pull. Oh yeah, I did. I didn't do a push pull. They're doing push pulls on them now, so you can get every pickup configuration possible. I
Mhm.
didn't do. I mine was like from the last batch that didn't have it, so I didn't do a push pull just because I don't like push pulls. I wired up the bridge pickup to a switch, a toggle switch, and that way I can get all three possible configurations. But I did this one because it's the only stock one I have. Just a thunder gun, and it doesn't need anything. It's just got flat wound strings, and I use that. I use it a lot. But so for Reverend, across the board, I I like how they do things. Now they're having some changes to manufacturing that they're going through right now. Um, just because it's a combination of a bunch of things, but they some of their stuff is actually made in Indonesia now, and I can't remember the name of the manufacturer. I always want to call it like it's I don't know. It's it's an Indonesian name, and I can never remember it. But they chose that factory because it was very similar to Mer Music, and it was a result of some a bunch of stuff. But primary motivator was at the time that they made this decision, Korea had a 25% tariff on it, and Indonesia had a 15% tariff on it, and they did not want to raise their prices. So they already had to do a price hike, and they didn't want to do another one for the tariffs. So they elected to start having some models made in Indonesia. but it's not Cortec. It's not any of these like companies you hear about. It's everybody's making a living wage, and still a lot of stuff being done by hand. And honestly, I have I think the bases are all still in Korea right now, but we have some of the Indonesian guitars. They're great, no
They
issues.
do
I mean,
the two-step, right? They have it all completed, and then they get it, and they do the stuff here as
oh yeah,
well.
it goes through. So it goes through three different levels of QC in Toledo. They do like an initial, like just making sure the neck didn't snap off, like anything glaringly, and then it goes into uh, like a closer visual inspection for like finish flaws and things like that, and then it goes into like setup and all that. And that there's when you walk in there, there's just workbenches everywhere, and that's what the vast majority of people that work there seem to be doing, is just QCing. Um, it's a surprisingly small building. It's it's there's not a lot of people that work there. You'd be. I'm always surprised at how few people handle this volume, this crazy volume of instruments, and with that in the regard to their consistency with that, it's like they do a pretty good job. Um, Now, are they perfect? No, but that's the thing is when they get something wrong, they handle it. I've had working at the store, we ordered, it was 47 instruments, and there was one that had a bad neck, and it was, yep, return label gone. Now, as a customer, this is when they first relaunched. I got a bass that I still have actually, and I thought it had a bad neck, and Ken Haas actually called me and said, "Look, like I really don't think the neck is bad on it." And he goes, "Do me a favor." He goes, they knew a shop in Oklahoma, and they said, "Take it there and have them do a setup." Now at this point, I didn't do anything myself. Now I do most of it myself. But at this point, I always took it to get setups and stuff. Um, and I didn't know. That's why I thought I had a bad neck, because I just didn't know. Now I know. But he said, "I really don't think you have a bad neck." He goes, "I think you got a bad setup. Do me a favor, take it to the shop." And he goes, "If if there's no if there's an if they say there's an issue, then we'll give you a new instrument." So and they overnighted everything, and and it ended up the bass was fine. It was just a bad setup. I still have the body of that bass. It's I've shown you the Frankenstein Reverend that I built, and then I had to have two technicians fix my mistakes. It's that the body from that is that bass. So Reverend, as a customer and as a retailer, Reverend does a fantastic job. Um, your dollar just goes further with them, and at these times when other companies are doing some wild stuff, it's time to start looking for alternatives, and they are definitely what I would consider to be a worthy alternative to the legacy brands. I think they do most of the thing. I mean, most of the time, I think they're better for that instruments from those companies that would cost $2,000 plus. I think you get a better instrument for 13 to 1500 from Reverend. Especially, I think that's especially true in the name of in the word and when we're talking about the G company. But the F company, we've been noticing a lot of bad stuff for a while. This isn't
So
new.
stay
This
away
isn't.
from the front of the alphabet. Go towards the end. Gotcha. Go for the
It's
R's.
just it's I really think it's just when they go private equity. That's when you always see. It's just like you see watching the same movie over and over again. They go private equity, and within 10 years, it's like they're just looking at spreadsheets. And
People in charge aren't wanting to make a good musical instrument. They want to make something
no,
that makes dollars.
yes, their goal is not to make a good guitar anymore. Their goal is to make money, and that's always the goal overall. But making a good product is a good way to make money. Um, and you don't have to do the cuts that see I've been anti F company for a while now, but it had nothing to do with what's going on. It had everything to do with them doing a preemptive layoff after, during the pandemic, guitar demand was through the roof, and they had all these people move out there to Corona, California, and then just they laid them off. And the statement that they gave was that they anticipated the economy getting bad, so they did a layoff before they did a preemptive layoff because they thought the economy would go bad. And so I haven't, I still use Studio One, and that's a Fender product now. But I try not to use anything that they make. It's hard because they own so many other companies, and Studio One's really the only DAW that I'm proficient with. So I'll probably continue to do that. I have considered getting a new DAW just for that reason, but at the end of the day, I have to be able to quick turn stuff, and um, you know, if I have to get another DAW and learn that while still using Studio One, and then eventually, just phase it out. But I, I'm I don't think I really have the time to do that at the moment, but
Well, and the
it's a
same parent
possibility.
company who owns Fender is the one who owned Reverb now. So if you were trying to do the full get
I
away
don't
from
I don't
everything,
I really don't do reverb. I mean, I have to for the store. The store has a reverb account. I don't sell things on reverb anymore. I don't really sell online anymore. Just because, like, to you is different. I just sold you that bass. That's a different ball game. So like anybody in our group text or anything like that, that's a different ball game. But I just get sick of answering 1,000 stupid questions, and then
is
like
this still
shipping out,
available? Does it come
and
with
then they
strings?
yeah, like what's the exact weight, and if it's 1 ounce heavier, than the if it's 1/10 of an ounce heavier than what's the number in their head, and then it's I got shoulder injuries, and I'm like, okay, but and it's just the anxiety of like sending it and then being like, okay, so like, is this money mine yet, or should I wait? Like, I just I
Mm-hmm.
I've done it a lot over the course of my playing, and I'm my my revolving door when it comes to instruments is legendary. But it's I've just done it so much, and I'm just sick of the same questions every time. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you put in that ad. You can put the weight 40 times in that ad. They're going to ask you what the weight of it is. Um, and it's just I don't know. I'd
Yeah.
rather and then by the time the fees and the shipping and all that kicks in, you're not really out anything going to selling it at a Guitar Center or something.
Yep.
Because you're talking, because like I kind of have a rule with it. If it's under, I've had to like change my numbers recently because the prices have gone crazy. But if it's 1,500 or under, Guitar Center. Um, I put it out I put it out to all the bass player friends to see if anybody wants it, and if they don't, Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Anything over 1,500, I tend to do talk bass, just because there's no fees, but I haven't done reverb in a minute, so
But say
that's
I
not a hard.
haven't tried it, but
I
I
look
guess
on there a lot. I'm
I
probably
know
on
the
that website
Sweetwater
every day
Gear
looking at
Exchange is
stuff.
an option too.
Yeah, I had a real bad experience. It's not Sweetwater's fault. It was the seller. I had a real bad experience on Gear Exchange. I I decided I wanted another 6 string bass, and I wanted a headless so that it wouldn't have any head dive. Because it's common on 6 strings. You had a lot of tuners, a lot of weight. Um, and I didn't want to spend. I was trying to get. I didn't want to. I had a decent budget, but I was trying to not. I'm not going to gig this thing. This is just something for me to write on. Because I like the high C when I'm writing. I use it a lot for writing, but I would never reason. I play in a soul band. Like, what do I what do I need with that? but it is a good writing tool. And so I was going to get one of those Kiesel. There's so many models there
Yeah.
now. I want to say it's that Vader. Is it the symmetrical one, the one that's like totally symmetrical and it has like pointed horns? But so this guy, I sent him an offer and um, he accepted it. Now the this is kind of inside. You have to like know how gear exchange ads are, but like it's so when you look at the ad, it said whatever it said, no free shipping, and then whatever his price was, free shipping. I made an offer, and so when he accepted it, it said offer accepted. Whatever. I think it's like $1,800 free shipping. And I said okay, and then dude sends me this like just it's all exclamation points and capital letters, and it said I wrote in a message on the thing that you had to pay shipping, and I'm looking at it and it's like, yeah, I see it now, and um, there was just a little message attached to it that I didn't see before, and so like this dude, and I said, well, the ad said free shipping. I didn't see the message. I said, so is the issue that you made a mistake and you just want me to cover shipping? And he said yes, and I was like, okay, well, I'll if you want to. I said, I don't know what to do. You accepted the offer, I paid it, and now you're hitting me up for more money. So on the Sweetwater side, like this is the transaction's done. Like I was like, I can send you, um, I can send it to you, and because I still wanted the base, and
Sure.
he just started cussing me out and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, man, like he was acting like I was trying to get one over on him, and I'm like, dude, I just said I would send you your money,
It's
and he
also
just
like, dude, learn how to do the thing you're trying to do.
well, that's the thing, and then I actually like I got Sweetwater involved, and I told them what was happening, and they actually like read through all the messages and stuff, and basically they were like they just voided the whole transaction, and I got my money back, and so and it's last I checked, it was still online for sale, so hopefully he never did sell it because it just seemed like he was just trying to get more money out of me. And it was like I was willing to do what he wanted, and then he was trying to get more money. And I was like,
Well,
and
and I'm sure
that's when I was like,
Sweetwater's looking at that like that has to be a violation of their terms. Like, because
I don't
if you
know.
got the base and then it was wrong and you had to return it, he's under no obligation and you have no protection to get your money back that you sent him separately. So,
Well, and that's the thing is like when I and then I said, I'll send you the shipping, just like PayPal or whatever. And then he was like trying to get it, and then he tried, and I estimated the shipping and sent it to him, and he said, no, it's this much. And it was like $100 more than my estimate. And I said, well, like I can just send you this label and we can do this. And no, and it was just I was like, okay, you're just trying to get more money at this point. So that's when I got Sweetwater involved.
yeah.
I just
So
walked in,
Rev,
so I don't even know what just happened. It sounds pretty bad though.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was annoying because I wanted I wanted that base, but it yeah, I ended up getting a just a whatever the lower end BTB six string is, and I like it. It's good. It does what I got it for. It's exactly what it does. But yeah, and we got way off topic, but like not really, because I mean Sweetwater did kind of do everything right in that
Yeah.
scenario. That's a company doing something right. Um, I think we're talking more about manufacturers.
I mean, it doesn't matter. This is for anybody. If you
Yeah.
have a headphone company that does something the right way, I mean, this this whole, I mean, I say it's geared towards, I mean, we got 3 people who watch, so all 3 of them might be completely different levels of knowledge, but I mean, this is typically geared towards the new folks. So I mean, now they know, hey, Sweetwater Gear Exchange, you can talk to Sweetwater. I know my worst thing with reverb I've had was when I sold my Sire F10. I put the pictures of the instrument and said, you know, it's been played. Here's the video, review video. If you want to check that out of this exact instrument, comes with the strings, these strings, blah blah blah. Like had all the information and said, and that's what you get. And then guy sends an offer. I accept the offer, pack it up, ship it out. And as soon as he receives it, like that same day, he sends back of where's the case that it comes with. And I was like, I said it just comes with the bass. That's it. Like, so just it's
Fire
like
doesn't include a case, do they?
they did. They included it with
Oh.
that F10, but it's a really nice case, and I decided to keep it, and that's why I listed the base for like $500 cheaper than, like I was $200 cheaper than the next used one. I figured that more than compensates for the case, and I put you just get the base. But it wasn't 5 minutes after I send the response of I said it only comes with the base, 1 star. It's like, oh, good. Of the like 5 reviews I have, I now have a 1 star. Hooray. And I messaged Reverb and I asked them, and they were like, kind of tough for you, buddy. Like, we don't, we, and which I can hold them to their integrity. Like, they're like, we don't remove negative feedback from people, because that's the reviewer of your purchase. And I was like, okay, but on that same note, and they were just like,
what
no.
he's saying isn't factual. If he's saying that you lied about the case,
Oh, he didn't put any words.
The ad said that the case doesn't come with it, then his rating of you is not fact. It's a lie.
They said that, you know, they messaged the buyer and they would see if he'd be willing to change it. Never got a response. So, I mean, and again, I can't fault Reverb, because again, if every person who got a 1 star review were to complain and they started pulling reviews, then the question is, where does the line fall of, well, we pull some reviews, all the amount of, you know, research and stuff. I'm not going to hold it against them. I don't hold it in their favor, but I also don't hold it against them on, we don't remove their stances. We don't remove user reviews. If you can't settle it and get a better review from the buyer, then you can't, which is what it is. But no, like what you were saying about at a certain price point, just take it to Guitar Center because of the fees. I used to work with the little mom and pop shop in the town where I work. And if he sells it, I get 80% of the sale if it's on consignment. And if he just happens to have money, he pays 50% of what he plans to sell it for. And that's not as much as Guitar Center. Guitar Center has the money available. They'll buy it. They usually, anytime I've gone in, though I usually go in with multiple instruments, they usually give me 60 to 65% of what they're normally selling it for. And that ends up being more, but I'm also an hour and a half away from the nearest Guitar Center, and that one always offers way less than the one that's 30 minutes farther. So I end up driving the 2 hours to go to the one I've always had a better experience at. And then, but with gas price and the amount of my time to go all the way over there, the mom and pop shop ends up being the better option, because I can drop it off on my way to or from work, and then it's local, it's helping a small business, all that fun. But
my closest Guitar Center is like an hour and a half as well.
About you, Sono? I know you used to be like 2 seconds away from one, lived on their roof or something like that for a while.
Used to. Now it's like about 45-ish minutes. But it's a drive, and I'm starting to hate driving lately. Also, like it's like getting older, because I used to just love driving around, just because mindlessly, you know, it doesn't matter what destination, just I'll just go out. Now it's
I like
just
how
like
Chris's head shot up when you said, "As I'm getting older." It was like a, yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a homebody now since most of my work now is at home. So I just like being at home now. And I don't have a desire to go out anymore. Unless,
That's what
it's like a
AMP
show.
said about NAM last year. Was like, but I'd have to leave my house. I'd have to leave my house to go to NAM. That would be awful.
Yeah. I mean, things like that, though. It's like, it's a special occasion, do that. I would do that. Spend that time out.
Supposed to be
Hanging out
in
with people.
27. They're all supposed to be there. AMP said they'll be there. Leah
Wow.
said she'll be there. So,
Next year, right?
I think
Chris will
right
pay
now my
and then he
plan
won't
is
show up.
yeah, I'll pay for everything and then not go. It's but no, I mean I'm going and I think Aristotle's going to end up going again, and I think I might have another one.
I like
Cool.
how when Aristotle got there, he was like, man, Chris isn't going to be here. Now I'm with these people that I've never met before. And I'm not a gear guy. Chris is the gear
not.
guy. I'm just walking around. And then he gets there and he just like, this stuff's pretty cool. Can we go over where they do all the like pro audio stuff? And I was like, I don't care. Sure. Why not? And then we went to like the other building and everything there was like either here we have this like $10 thing that you'll never need, or it's like, oh, here's $100,000 console. Oh, I shouldn't be here. I'm gonna go back where there's stuff with strings on it, not computers. But
yeah,
he seemed like he had fun.
Yeah, we're I can get everybody passes now with the store, and so I might have even another one coming.
There you go.
That's cool.
I was fancy enough to get whatever color mine was, the purple one or something.
Yeah.
Because red is for buyers, and then I think the people who had the booths also, like there was red for the people who work at a booth, and then the buyers had another color, and then like the public had a different color, and I think the content people were purple, and everyone made fun of me because I answered their questions on the application. It's like, what is your job? And I thought they were just trying to get demographics of who attended, so I put human resource manager. So I'm walking around with a badge that says OK's Basis is human resource manager. It's like, I manage myself, thank you. I make
you got the tag for it.
Yeah,
I make sure that if I get out of line, I report myself to me, and I have a firm conversation with myself about that.
That's right.
I mean,
pull out
then
that
you had Leah,
SpongeBob
who
clip.
had like 3 badges because who got her? She had her badge. She had 2. She had her badge, and then Sterling by Music Man got her one, so she could go in early on one of the days to do some stuff with them. And then at the end of the day, the last day when they were kicking everybody out, she just flips her badge around, and security's like, "Oh, you're allowed to stay." You two, and point at Aristotle and I. They're like, "You guys need to leave."
Sheesh.
And then they just walked off. So it was like on the honor system. Like I could just not, but okay.
Yeah. I don't know what I guess I'll have a buyer badge. I don't know if that gets me any early access.
So it was weird because this last year they had the media day, but the people who had media badges weren't allowed in. It was only like buyers and their guests or the sellers.
I was gonna say, like, if I'm a buyer, I gotta think that's got to be like a Gucci.
Yeah, and that's what we found
something.
funny because again, Leah has influencer badge. I had influencer badge. It's like, okay, this is influencer, this is social media, this is content creator. Like it literally at the bottom says media badge, and then it's like, hi, we're here that first day for media day. They're like, you're not allowed in. But it's media day, and this says media on my badge. No, you're not allowed in.
It is kind of cool. My collection of badges, because I've been an exhibitor. I've been a media.
Infinity Gauntlet.
I should get the buyer
the colors.
Honestly, my badge last year I think was a buyer badge. I think I had to do something extra for that.
I just know mine's free.
I technically have a buyer badge. I just didn't go that year.
Yeah.
I could still go print it out, make my
There you
own
go.
binder.
Remote
Yeah, I don't
buyer.
know.
I'll just walk around holding an iPad with Chris on Zoom. This is buyer Chris Volpini.
That
He would like
sucks.
to speak to you. Touch those strings.
So
That's awful. I'm not buying it. Go to another.
yeah, I know. You ain't gonna trick me. Um, so you want to do another company doing things right?
Go
We each
ahead.
pick one.
Sure.
Yeah.
What you got, Sono? You're the newest one. Immediately says Fender. We kick him from everything. Kick him off the group chat.
Well, I'm not really huge on Sire anymore, but I will have to admit with Sire that, they did do something right in terms of like customer feedback and just overall feedback in general, especially with the Z7 pickup issue where they added a bigger pull piece for the neck pickup on the Z7 line. I thought that was really cool. The
They
fact
do
that they were
listen to customer feedback.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to address that in a later rendition, I think that's really cool and very respectful. Unlike most companies, they won't really care. They'll just keep doing whatever they want to do. But with them, at least, they were able to do something about it and, offer new colors too, which is also enticing. But at the same time, adding an upgrade to it. And I believe they also did, like, it wasn't really public announced, but people that were to reach out to them directly asking about the newer pickup to just send to them like as a replacement part, they were able to do that. But I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah, I
But
know Leah put it in her
yeah,
video when she worked with, I think it was EMG for a replacement one, because she had said in her first video, like, if you need a replacement, you can do it. And then when she made her other video, she was like, I was wrong. They don't do that now. So, sorry.
yeah, I know. Like they did that
Which,
shortly,
I
but
mean,
I guess,
cost.
yeah,
It's
yeah, that
definitely
too.
one of those things of like they make the instruments at a very competitive price, and then you're throwing in. I mean, there if the pickup from EMG costs $120, even if they're getting them at wholesale, it's still, even if it's half that, at $60 a pop plus $10 for shipping,
Hmm.
cutting $70 into it for every single instrument you've already sold. I mean, that's a huge hit to the bottom line.
Yeah, times that by hundreds, not even thousands.
So for Sire, we actually just had. We are a. I've got us as a Sire dealer. Here's the bad. So there's a bad and a good. The bad thing with Sire is you can never be in a hurry with them.
Yeah.
Everything literally. We made the agreements and everything. Got them in the shop. I was like, this is what we want. Everything on back order. The entire order is on back order. So, but
That's how
we're
they
still a
seemed at
dealer.
NAM too. They seemed very relaxed and laid back at their booth. Like
Yeah.
someone walked. I think someone could have set a base on fire, and they'd have walked by him and like, "Oh, we should put that out."
But it's so, but we're still a dealer. We just don't have any items yet. But I had a guy wanted a 5-string fretless, and we, of course, I mean, we're a small shop. We don't stock fretlesses, so let alone a 5-string fretless. So um, I was racking my brain what I could do for this guy. I was like, well, Sire, and I looked on their dealer. They sent out a thing with what's available, and they had one 5-string fretless M7 available, and got it. We do like 2 or 3 rounds of QC on special order stuff on everything, really. But so first thing, I plugged it in. I got it in, plugged it in, and everything seemed to work. So I sent it back to the tech. He set it up and everything, and then brought it back out. And I was playing it, and it started staticking and popping. So disengaged the preamp, and it all stopped, and everything was fine. I was like, okay, something's up with the preamp, and took it back to the tech, and he took it all apart and figured out it wasn't the preamp was fine, the battery box, the contacts in the battery box, because they just rooted in plastic and it had worn in the contacts. It wasn't making good contact. And so he brought it back out, and he's like plugged it in. He's just touching the battery box, and it was staticking and stuff. So message Sire, they overnighted us a new battery box, and customers still got it on the day they intended to pick up. So I mean, they didn't have to do any of it. I mean, they had to send a battery box, but they could have just been like, okay, this is when you're going to get it. But they actually overnighted it, and the new and got it, swapped it out, and it was fine. They picked it up. They actually picked it up on Saturday. So, um, yeah, I mean, that's the only downside is I think it's just that they sell through their stuff so fast that they can't, you know, and that's a struggle for new companies when they're doing well. Is that's the biggest struggle, keeping up with demand. That's the way it was for the
Oh
string
yeah,
company I was in.
that's like
Keeping
when
up
the
with demand was
Z3
the
and
hardest part of the
Z7
job.
launched.
Yeah,
You couldn't get one
I
when
remember
the Z.
that.
I remember when Sweetwater launched. Like I had seen when they were going to have it. I called Tim and I was like, "Hey, I really want this natural Z7 with that roasted neck. Like I'm super interested." He's like, "Cool." And I was like, "I'm also interested in the whatever the name of it was, the pink one." I was like, I'm interested in both of those because one of them I want sent to me and one I want sent to Bully. He's like, cool, yeah, I'll put you on the wait list. And I don't remember how many months it was before I got a message of, hey, guess what? Your base is on its way to us, and then we'll ship it to you. And I mean, it was a bit of a wait. And then the F10 was the same way. That first, I don't even know about the newer ones like the headless deluxe ones, but they were the same way. Like I think, I mean, you get it a lot with new products, but I mean, Sire does have where their product goes and people know that they make a good thing, and then they're just
Yeah.
not available.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
my next example for good company. Um, so I'm going to say Earthquaker devices for effects pedals. Um, you know, I lucky enough I got to tour the factory and stuff, and man, so it's obviously that I've always liked their product. That's not handmade, made well. I've never had any failures with any of them. I've had right now my board has a lot of Earthquaker stuff, but I've always had at least one, and I've never had any issues with any of them. Um, but going up there and seeing how they make things, and like you literally, we talked to every employee at the company, um, and just how they all the things that they do for the city because they're in Akron, Ohio, and all the things they do, all the community involvement that they do, like they stuff that has nothing to do with their clientele. Like it's not, they're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. Like they're very involved with LGBTQ stuff there. They're very involved with all the little museums and stuff they help sponsor. They have what they call Earthquaker Days. It's like a mini trade show type thing that they do, and it's open to the public and free live music and all that. Um, but they like you either like the product or you don't. I mean, but in terms of just how the way they do things and everything, and no sweatshop labor involved or anything like that, and just their corporate citizenry or whatever you want to call it is really top notch.
Cool. I'm not a pedal person, so I have no input on that.
Well, that's pretty cool to hear their backstory because I had the last time I touched the Earthquaker device pedal was like one of their chorus pedals, and that was like in 2017. And
hmm
yeah,
I
those are
have
good pedals back then.
I have their chorus on the Aurelius.
Oh yeah, those are good.
They have a few different ones, but that's the one I like. I think the rotary voice on that is that's I use there's an Aristotle song that I recorded on fretless, but live. I just don't like changing instruments unless I have to.
Yeah.
So I was like I'm just gonna get a chorus pedal and try to get that fretless kind of a fretless sound, and so that's what I did. And the road I it's just always bridge pickup rotary on the Aurelius, and it's Yeah, would the fretless be better? Yeah, but close enough.
Yeah, and even then, with a fretted on a chorus, you're typically emulating what a fretless would do. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just easier because, again, like you said, I don't want to swap instruments during the middle of set. I've done that before, and it's such a pain.
yeah. I mean, and like because we do the storyteller thing, um, there are some good times to do it, but it almost never lines up the way you would want it to.
Yep.
The way I would want it to, and I don't know why he doesn't structure everything around me, but he should. um, but yeah, and it just like I don't know. I don't like taking a bunch of stuff to shows. I got too
That
much as
too.
it is.
Yes.
Um, you know, and that's I always try to be. I think the key to doing this, at least one of the keys, is just being adaptable. So like every once in a while, I'll do a show with nothing. Like I'll just take a DI box.
He just stands there by himself, goes
Yep. Yeah, no band. I don't take a bass. I just take a DI box and I hold it because
directly
I
to
don't
his
take the
head.
power supply for it either.
He's
But
like
no,
Uncle Fester. If you put a bulb in his mouth, it glows. It's pretty great.
just every once in a while I'll do something like that just cause. Um, and the only thing I ever miss when I do that is the pedal tuner. I've become incredibly spoiled on pedal tuners.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like the headstock tuners. If you're playing the only one I've ever found that isn't expensive, that works for a 5 string is the Guitar Center in-house brand, the Delta Lab.
Yeah, those. Yep.
I've
That
had
one,
good luck out of this guy. This little D'Addario.
Oh, the Dario ones. Yeah.
That's the
yeah,
rechargeable USB-C. I've
yeah.
had I've had no.
The
I mean, I don't
Snarks
know.
hate
Huh?
bass. The Snarks hate bass. I don't know what
Yeah,
it
they
is.
do.
I mean, I have at the church two, I think, of the snarks that are rechargeable, and then we have whatever. I think those are like super snark is what it says, and then we also have one that's like
Super tight, right? Super tight.
well, no, the rechargeables are the super snark, and then we do
Yeah.
have a super tight that is specifically for bass. And the couple of times that I've used it, that I've put it on a 5 string and I hit, it goes F sharp for the B
Yeah,
string. It's like
yeah. It hates the B string. I always have to either do the
Mhm.
harmonic or I'll just fret 5 and
fret the
it'll
fifth.
yeah.
Yeah, that's me too, especially with those snarks. I always, when it comes to a 5 string, I just do the tuner pedal from Korg, and that's
Yep.
it.
I about
I
to
have
say
the Walrus Audio, the
I
Canvas.
have I have one. I was helping at the church with reorganizing all of the crap we had in the old storage room, and I don't want to rip it off the board, but I have this little, what is it? It's a Boss. Where's the number? TU
Oh,
2.
those. Yeah, I remember
It's
those.
white. I don't know if
Yep.
it's that. I mean, it
That's
seems
what I
to.
have on my because there's an acoustic act where like with Aristotle now where I'm playing upright and I still I take like a hollow body and an upright and and then here soon I might be doing mandolin but um the that's what's on that. I have just a wee little pedal board. It's just a tuner and a DI box in case the amp blows up, and that's um, and then it's the D'Addario one. So my mic stand. It's also my mic stand. It's just to keep a small footprint.
Yeah,
But
I found this. I found this
I'm
little
not using
white pedal.
effects for that.
You don't need like a chorus and a flanger on your upright.
No, the only thing I might do is
Tremolo.
Trickfish has a signal like a high pass low pass filter in a pedal.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
might
that's cool.
I might stick that
Which
on
one's
there.
that?
I think it's called the signal filter.
Those are really good, really handy too. I bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm probably gonna get one. But uh, but yeah, speaking of that, that can be our. So I'm big on I'm big on Trickfish as well. I have 3 of their amps currently. I was hoping to only have 2.
I'm
But
trying to convince the wife that I need your rig. She asked me the other day, she goes, "So what does it do?" I was like, "It's an amp." She goes,
oh,
"But
what doesn't it do?
she's like, "What
Right.
does he use?" She's like, "What does he do with it?" I was like, "My understanding is it's like his small rig whenever he goes and does a
Mhm.
show or something." She goes, "But you only play at church and everything just gets plugged in, right?" It's like, "Yeah." She goes, "But isn't that why you bought that little trickfish box thing? Because of my minnow?" And I was like,
Mm,
"Yeah." She goes, "So
I
you
have one of
don't
those.
she goes, "So you don't need it." And I was like, "I don't need any of this. I just need a bass. I need a bass. The church has the rest. I can just show up with a bass and be fine." She's like, "Yeah, I don't know." So I'm still working on it. I'm working on it.
But yeah, so I'm actually really. I mean, we're still in the honeymoon phase with that head, but I thought it was
Which
because
one
I
was
have the
that?
bullhead. What's that?
What was that one you showed?
This is the bullhead point 0.5. It's 700 watts. It's not 500 watts.
Oh, okay.
If you run it into 4 ohm, but it's and then I
Sono
have the
knows what
mini,
that means.
and then I have the bullhead mini, which is that's the one I'm trying to sell, Travis here, um, and that's 500 watts, and then I have the bullhead 1K, which is 1,000 watts. Because I really thought this was just going to be like the 1K, just less power. But it actually it's a little bit different, and honestly, I kind of think this is all I'll ever really need in an amp. I don't think I really need the 1K anymore.
Is that the one
Um,
you were saying you were wanting to order? Did you manage to get it, or there's a different one you're wanting to order?
no, no, they made one, and got it to me, or they had one that they because it said sold out on the website, and
Mm.
when I contacted them, I was like, hey, like you know, and that's when he told me. I think he said they just finished it, or they had one that they could sell that was
Who do
that
you
just went
normally
through
talk
its
to? Is it Ryan or
Ryan.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, Ryan, and then like I don't have everything. I have I have the head and the speakers, which is the main deal. I also got the covers and stuff, and I got one of the covers, but not the other one, and so
I was talking to Ryan a while back. He sporadically seems to answer. But I was talking to him. He'd said he thought he might have had a like B stock combo that he might be able to send around for the reviews of the combo, but he said might have to wait until NAM and then just see about snagging the one from the show and
Oh,
then
that's cool.
send
no,
because
I
he's like,
want
I
one
don't
of those.
yeah, he was like, I don't want to. Obviously, they don't want to take a brand new one and be like, here, let's send this to like 4 or 5 YouTubers and
Right.
mail it around the country all over the place.
I don't
He's like,
blame
I
them.
don't. And I was like, I even told him, I was like, if you tell me how much it is for a B stock or for like a show demo or whatever, I was like, if I can swing it, I'll just buy it and then I'll send it around to everybody. It'll just be mine. But so far he hadn't been able to find one yet, so I guess they don't have one.
Yeah, I want one of those.
So you buy it and you can send it around, and then I'll just keep it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'm a firm believer in having like I just said that I don't think I need the bullhead anymore, the 1K, but I'm still gonna I'm you always got to have a big one and a small rig, and then like leave at
Yep.
the rehearsal studio or leave at the rehearsal space amp, and
I just like combos because you only have to carry one thing. You don't
I
show
mean,
up.
but
You don't show up with a cab and then realize you forgot the head somewhere or left it out in the car or whatever. And now it's this is a speaker.
see, and
I can't do
I
anything with
like
it.
the idea of stacks better because if a component fails, you can just swap out that component.
wall
Same.
of sound.
Yeah, I'm that same as well. I used to be pro combo, but then I just had that experience, and it's funny because I told myself I'll never experience that. It happened once,
That's
never again.
yeah. That's why I left the first amp company I was ever with.
Oh yeah, which company was that? If you don't mind sharing that.
Line
Yeah, I mean,
6.
yeah, no, it was,
Is it the spider?
technically it was the second one, but yeah, it was
Spider 2.
it rhymed with. It was a kind of a German name, and it had a G and a K.
Oh my gosh.
But I bought a bunch of stuff direct from. I was happy.
Gensler.
I really liked the big rig a lot. And then I had a smaller one, and then a living room amp, basically. And the living room amp blew up, and
Oh no.
they just they didn't do anything. It was like 2 months after I got it or something, and they basically just told me to, "Oh, you're on your
Deal
own,
with
kid."
I pretty much kick rocks after
Deal
60
with
days of owning it.
Yeah, so I you
So
know,
bad.
it was a long time ago, but when that happened, I said, "Okay, we're done with them," and I had remembered the first NAMM I ever went to, Trickfish was there, and even at NAMM, it was a Nashville NAMM, so it wasn't as noisy, but it was still noisy. And even in that noisy room, the amps were cutting through and everything. And I said, "Man, I really like this." But
I do love at
2K
NAMM, you
stuff.
go to all these different booths, and like half the nice boutique booths, you just see a Trickfish like setup.
Yeah, I see.
But
I
yeah,
used to
so
see that a lot too.
I was happy with Trickfish or Galleon Kruger, so I was like, whatever. And then when that happened, I called him up. I was like, "Hey, how fast could you get me an amp if I were to order it?" And so it was like before my next show, so I went and sold all my Galleon Kruger stuff, and that's how I bought the first rig. And they they sent it, and I had it. It was a Wednesday night show, and it was at this coffee shop down in oh man, like I think right in Virginia, right when you get into Virginia, and so playing, and the amp just starts, just it blew up, and I'm like, oh no, and so no big deal. Like I had a DI box, ran direct for the rest of that show, and it was just like an acoustic thing anyway. I had at this
That's good.
time I had a Gibson hollow body, and that's what I was playing. But I don't have that anymore. But it's so I called him up and I'm like, hey, like here's the deal. I don't have an amp right now because I had to sell like everything to get this, and they had me send a video and everything to make sure it wasn't something I could fix at my house. And they said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. So this is on a Wednesday. I had another show on Friday. They said, okay, we're gonna overnight you a new head and just send the broken one in the box that this one comes in. There'll be a return label inside. You don't have, I had the amp before Friday.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was nobody. Like I wasn't,
Yeah,
Um,
that's so
and
cool
I
though.
still am.
He wasn't
But,
he wasn't a buyer then.
yeah. So what? Like, and they didn't know me from anybody, and that's what they did. And that amp is the one that I'm still using, so no further issues. And the mini, I use that way more than anything because it's small and light and good enough most of the time.
So
And
now you're going to get the 3K, is what you're telling me.
I'm not going to get the 3K, but they, companies release new product all the time. And I heard a rumor, and
5K.
I might have to get that.
They're going to release one with a screen, and it's going to be called the 4K. It's great. Thing is, it's in 1080p. We just don't understand.
HDMI is included this time.
Yes, but you have to have an adapter from 10 volt. Is that what 12 volt? That's the only thing about the Minnow that irritated me was I got it and I was like, cool. I have power
Yeah, the
supply.
12-volt power
And then I
supply.
plug it in with the 9-volt that I had, and it's like,
Oh wow.
it's broken. And then I looked at the top and I see 9-volt or 12-volt. I was like, oh.
Wow.
So, and that's how I started talking to Ryan, because I just put in a thing on their website of contact. I was like, I just want to make sure I'm getting the right power supply, because I plugged in the 9-volt. I'm sure that didn't hurt it, but I also don't want to just like go to my store and get like the universal laptop charger cable sets and then
Yeah, one of those.
hook that up, and then somehow it sends 50,000 watts into the thing
I
and
feel like my Minnow
explodes.
came with one.
Mm-mm.
I have a Minnow, and I feel like it came with a power supply.
Mine didn't. I got it from Trickfish through their Reverb store, just because that's where I found one showing it said it was available. But when I messaged, Ryan just sent back, and I'd already hollered because I sent it in. Then I thought the next day I was like, well, I'll just ask at Sweetwater. They know stuff. Tim figured out which one, and he's like, yeah, I can get you. It was, I think the one he sent me is a Yamaha that's for like a keyboard, but he's like, it's the same power supply. It's the right amperage, voltage, and plugs, so you're good. And the day that came in, Ryan messages me and he goes, hey, I'm just going to send you one of those power supplies, so you have it. What's your address? And I was like, I'm not returning this $10 power supply to Sweetwater. So now I have two. I have one in that box right there, and then there's the one that plugs in.
I always get the adjustable ones, so that it doesn't,
The last
like,
time I messaged Ryan, I had just asked if there's one that has a right angle, because with it sticking straight out the end,
Yeah.
like I would move my stuff to show, but like my pedal board sits on the top cover of my keyboard, like the flip top that covers the keys. It just sits on top of that, and it has the interface and everything all connected. And it's the power plug for the Minnow is the thing that sticks out the farthest from the pedal board. So it's pushing the whole pedal board out. And I'm just waiting to see if they have or recommend one with a right angle, and about the B stock combo, because I want that.
Yeah,
but your stuff I'm sure would be cheaper than the combo. So then I'll buy it from you and we'll be fine.
I don't know. For the single power supplies, I forget the brand, but it's just like an Amazon. But you can change you can go from a 9-volt to an 18-volt, and you can adjust the amperage to, I forget, but that's what I always used to get those.
Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty cool. Reminds me of those power supplies on your computers where you could just switch the voltage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sell that
That's all it does.
for like $20.
You have to use like a screwdriver. It's like a wheel switch.
Cool.
You have to use like a screwdriver to adjust it, but it's been great.
It's awesome. But yeah, I think you talking to you like for the combos and all that, and getting like a smaller, I'm like losing my train of thought right now, I'm sorry, but like having like that small rig and then the big rig, that's pretty much the good setup right there too.
Yeah, and I still like it.
Travel speaker, and then you show up with the SVT 8x10
like the fridge
options.
I have a 8x8.
Got my Spark Go.
Oh, that's awesome! An 8x8.
That's one of my that was gonna be my next amp company for who's doing it right now, and I can't believe I'm the guy doing this, but they are.
Ampeg.
Ever since the Yamaha buyout, I think Ampeg has, like, I'm not an Ampeg guy.
They're Korg now, right?
No. Yeah,
no.
wait. No, Ampeg is Yamaha.
Yeah.
And
I'm thinking Aguilar. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what it is.
Yeah, the Venture series and the Rocket series. I mean, my living room amp is a Rocket 108, like the cheap one. It's
Disney Plus, gotta include that.
Yeah, I don't know why that's just happened. I think my wife's doing something.
They use the 8x8 as their sound bar on the television at home.
Yes, no, that's the 8x8. I use it. So it is like, because it's an 8x8, but man, it's 60 pounds. You can.
That's how heavy it is. Whew.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
we did
That's like a third of a Sono.
It's just it weighs nothing. So sometimes if I need a big rig and it's like an outdoor festival, I might I kind of rock that. Not that the trick fish is heavy, but it's heavier than that. Um,
Yeah.
and after I don't know, like Trickfish is my favorite amp company, but this Ampeg stuff that's been coming out has been really cool. I really like the Venture. I have the SGT DI and that's become like I use that for recording a lot now. I've been using that instead of the red. I have a red DI that I usually use. It's just like a tube DI. Um, but I like the Ampeg better. It's not tube, but I like the way it sounds better. So I've been really using that a lot for recording lately.
It's
But
funny
yeah,
that
the
you
new
mentioned.
Ampeg stuff has been really, really good.
I recently purchased about like maybe a month ago the V7 Ampeg, and it was kind of my least favorite. But I was playing the first version of the Aguilar Tonehammer 700, just kind of like that compare contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And I just preferred that Aguilar baked in tone a lot
Really?
more than the Ampeg. Yeah, but I mean, there were some caveats of the Ampeg that I really liked, like its built-in compression. That was really nice, especially if I don't want to fiddle around with like a pedal. And let's say like I want to go to a gig where I don't want to bring a pedal board, and the pedal I use the most is like a compressor, so I'll just bring
Mm-hmm.
that head, and then it'll just do the compression for me by just dialing it in. And that was
Yeah.
that was probably like the only good thing about the Ampeg for me. But
Hmm.
yeah, I just played the tone hammer the most, more at home, because I was messing around with 4 different amps, and I've cut it down to just two now that I play the
Mm-hmm.
most. And yeah, I'm just keeping those two now.
Yeah, I mean, I have the V12, but it's the same EQ section as the
Oh yeah,
V7.
just more
And
power.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's just difference in preference. Like I love it. Um, it works really well for me. Um, I like, Ampeg always colors your sound. It's not a
Oh yeah,
flat amp, but like I don't know, like sometimes with Aristotle, it's a soul band.
there you go.
It's yeah, just um P bass with flats through the Ampeg, and there it
Oh
is.
oh yeah, that was smoking the
Yeah,
last
So
there
gig.
it is.
Yeah,
so
the
for
last gig.
fun,
What's up?
you were talking about the weight on that. So I looked it up on the Ampeg. Yours is the VB88, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it says 67, and
Hmm.
thinking how, comparatively light that is to like the Ampeg fridge, like the SVT fridge. Um, just to give a comparison for any, like I tried to get GR to send us some stuff and they ignored me. But
Hmm.
their 8 by 10, which of course they're carbon series, so they're the ones who are known for everything being stupid light, is 50 pounds. So we're
Hmm.
17 pounds more than the company known for making the stupidly light stuff. Just in case the one person watching doesn't understand, 67 pounds is really light.
Yeah, I mean, GR bass is super intriguing. I just haven't like the only time I've been able to try them is at NAM. There is a shop about 2 hours away that has them, but they keep really weird hours. They're not open on weekends.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's hard to get
they're
to them.
like their like contact stuff was interesting because I talked to, I think he was the owner while at NAM, and did my typical spiel of, hey, there's a group of us, we have different demographics throughout the channels, this many viewers, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
We'll pass it around, blah blah. And he was like, oh, that sounds great, here's my card, let me wait until after NAM, like a month or so that I can settle
Hmm.
back, because I think they're from Italy.
They
And it
are.
was like, give us some time post NAM for big sellers and buyers, blah blah blah. I was like, cool, sounds great. So I messaged and I sent it to the email that he listed, and basically got a response of, hey, thanks for reminding me, I'm going to send you over to the PR people. And then I get sent over, and they were like, okay, here's an application to fill out. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like, obviously, you want if someone's not willing to fill out some paperwork to be like, here's who I am, why would you want to send them a product? And then
Well, it's an accountability tool too.
yeah, so I
So
filled it all out, and like there was this section that was like, okay, what's the name of your channel? So I put mine, and then there was like a comment section or whatever, so I just put like everyone who normally does the reviews YouTube links, and then put numbers of like current subscribers, all that fun. And I was like, so this is it. And then I got a response back. It was like 3 weeks later. I just figured they weren't interested. I got a response 3 weeks later of, we're reviewing your request, and if we have openings, we will let you know. So it was like you could have just not answered, or you could have just said no, but
That
you're
was
like
the corporate
dangling,
answer of
you're like
no.
dangling the carrot. Like, yeah, maybe. I just thought of the
Yeah,
insurance commercial that I got
at
you
least they didn't leave it
$1.
open ended. That's
yeah,
the ultimate disrespect, is just to ignore you. So
exactly. Yeah, you got the corporate answer, so that's better than nothing.
They have us under consideration forever.
Just like those job interviews, man. Just dropping off nothing but resumes. They're like, yeah, we'll get back to you.
dude, when I was job hunting,
Don't
that
call
was
us, we'll call you.
that's what always drove me nuts. Is I had probably 3 or 4 companies like, we're definitely bringing you back for a second interview. You're going to be hearing from us, and just never heard anything at all.
Yeah.
Ghost.
One guy told me I was hired. I was going to be so Pittsburgh. This is when I was still living in Pittsburgh, and they have a public transit system called the T. It's just like, it's on the old trolley tracks and train tracks, and it's a train. And I was going to be it works off of a link system, and I was going to be a technician for that. It's very similar to systems I worked on in the military. And I met with the director of the maintenance department or whatever, and told me I was hired and all this stuff. And he was like, you got to email this person. This is at a veteran hiring event thing. And he said, this is the person you're going to be emailing her. And she was sitting right there. And yeah, and he's like, I want his email as soon as he sends it. And I sent it before I left, because I was like, I need a job. That was when I was getting out of the military, and never heard anything ever. And I checked in a couple times because he gave me his personal card, and oh yeah, I'm going to get on that right now. And then just never heard anything. And I was like, okay, well, cool. So, but that's a company doing it wrong. But here's another company doing it right. See there?
Now, if it had been the city of Oakland, you'd have had the right person to contact.
Maybe.
Well,
So
he's in our chat, so
I'm going to give it up to Close. I think they're doing it right, quote unquote, right now. We work with them very closely at the store, and get it, and so, and we're it's very pleased with the instruments that have come in. Like, they are pricey, but when you consider like what you're getting, it makes a lot of sense. I think we have an upgraded. Their Grand Cutaway is a Taylor-esque body shape, and we have a few of those right now, and we upgraded them with the LR Bags Anthem system and all that stuff. And so it doesn't have that, what do they call it, the timber, where it's supposed to kind of look like wood. It doesn't have that. That's like a $500 upgrade. It's still just the black carbon fiber, but it has all the other stuff, the upgraded electronics and all that. But that's $2,700, which I think it holds its own with a $2,700 Taylor, or anything else in that price range. So yeah, they're not cheap, but they're not insane with their prices either. Considering, do you remember Rain Song? They were like $4,000 in the early 2000s. That was a carbon fiber acoustic company. And they didn't even sound good. They so I that was one thing I never understood why they like, because every carbon fiber acoustic I've ever heard has not sounded good. It sounds brittle and thin, um, but the closest don't, and I never understood why. And it's because they actually their top is two carbon fiber panels, and there's foam in the middle of it, and it kind of like deadens it and makes it sound like a wood guitar. Um, so it's cool, man. Like they're like moving that industry forward, carbon fiber instruments. And the mandolin, there's nothing, you know, it's the best sounding mandolin I've ever heard. We have one of their just A style cheap mandolins, and it's not cheap, but like they're lower. It's
I was
just a
about to
basic.
say,
Um,
word I'd use.
but it's and Aristotle uses one of their mandolins.
He
And
really loved the one that they handed him to play when he was at NAMM.
yeah,
And
and
they
Oh,
had
so
one
yeah.
as a giveaway. They had a
Nice.
raffle.
I almost bought yours, but I ended up getting one. Just a passive. This is just a flyaway bass. I don't have to worry about traveling with instruments anymore, like air travel with instruments anymore,
Yeah.
because of that.
I sold that
but-
one because Tim, their head of PR, he was talking to me. They have some new finishes. He was talking about at NAMM that they have some new finishes. They're going to come out, and they just started their partnership with EMG, and
Mhm.
they were having problems with production on the headless systems with the necks. So he'd said they wanted to get a headless and one of the new finishes with the EMGs. And then I think it was a couple weeks ago, Adam texted me. He said, "Hey, keep an eye out. Tim should be getting a hold of you in the near future." And again, that was a couple weeks ago. But I think Ian had to go over to the factory because they were having production problems. So
yeah, I waited for a bit because I waited a bit because they said that basically they had a bad batch of necks, and they were trying to they had rectified whatever the issue was, and they were trying to catch back up with that.
Yeah.
And so I just had to wait longer, but it's as
Yeah.
advertised. I mean, I didn't want anything. I wanted the bare bones. It's passive.
and
it just has
their
pickups.
passive sounds so good.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I find myself soloing the neck pickup or whatever you want to call it most of the time, but I like it.
Yeah, the
But
only
that's me. I'm old,
experience
so
the only
TV.
experience I had playing the close was Bully's old 5-string before he, I believe, traded it for a 6-string one, and
Mm.
that was really good.
Oh,
That
at the
felt
bass
amazing.
house,
Yeah.
he had the 6, and then
Oh, he had the 6.
He had the
Oh,
6
okay.
because that's what they sent him, and then I think he swapped it out for the 5 one or the other. He had a 5
Oh,
and then a
okay.
6, or a 6 and then a 5. But yeah, at the show they swapped it out for him.
I have a
Yeah.
5-string. The bass that's theirs is a 5-string, and then I have a component build jazz bass that has their neck. Their
Is
F
that the
series.
F?
Yeah, I was I was on the pre-order. I was one of the very first people to get it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's. I mean, so the story I always tell is, um, I played a show in Oklahoma City that was outside and over 100 degrees and the whole deal. The following weekend, we were on a mountain in Snowshoe, West Virginia, and I don't know how cold it was, but my hands went numb while I was playing, and
It's not a
so
good
it's
feeling.
cold. And so, like, I was kind of like, hey, man, like, when we get back to the hotel, like, we need to have a little maintenance party, because we had another date the following, and so we're all sitting there and got all the tools and strings and all that out, and I pulled out mine and I was like, it still looks okay, and it like I just kind of wiped it off because it had fingerprints and stuff all over it, and I just kind of wiped it off, and I'm like, I just kind of took my string action gauge and was like, and then I was went to tune it, still in tune.
Wow.
Gets everyone to break
the
out
neck
all
did
of
not
their
move.
Allen wrenches and then just tunes his
Yeah.
and sits down
And
and
I just
watches
kind
everyone
of
else.
put it on the bed, and then I started watching TV, and they're like, "You're done." I said, "It doesn't need anything." And
Didn't move.
yeah, I just kind of wiped it off, and that was it.
Now I have a question when it comes to playing outdoor gigs for you. You mentioned that you bring the VB8 from Ampeg. How was your experience? If you ever did play it recently, for that cab outdoors.
I did an outdoor show in my hometown, over in Wheeling. I did an outdoor show, and I used it. It's fun. It
Yeah,
was
so it just
you know,
covers everything.
probably too much amp for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
It was. I mean, it was,
my issue is having enough speaker coverage to cover everything if you're not having any PA support.
well, we did have PA support, so I can't speak to that.
Oh, okay.
I haven't played a show like most of the shows I play now have PA. That's the thing is I don't even like. I really don't need an amp, but I like amps. Um, yeah, I mean, it happens, but it's few and far between. It's usually like an acoustic show
Oh, okay.
when there's no PA support. So I don't, a lot of times I actually take I either take the Trickfish, the Mini, or I have an Ampeg Rocket 210 that I take for those.
Oh, nice.
Just because I don't, it's just an acoustic. There's no drummer to keep up with, so
Right, that's good.
I've used that Rocket 2. That's my rehearsal space amp, and I played with drummers with it, and that's fine.
That's good. It keeps up.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
Dino has a question for you, Chris. He sent it in the comment and asked, have you had experience with, I don't know if you guys can see the chat too.
No, I don't have it up.
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce it. Schroeder?
Oh, Schrader
Schroeder
cabs?
cabs. Yeah, I've had
Schroeder
cabs. They're fantastic.
Schroeder.
I've had a few Schroeder cabs over the years. They're great. That coating that he uses is kind of weird. It'll sometimes like flake off. But other than that, I mean, it's not that's new. That's really the only bad thing that comes to mind. Is I wouldn't even call that a bad thing.
I just want to know if there's a cat inside or not.
What's that?
I said I just want to know if there's a dead cat inside or not.
I don't think so.
Important. I think that's in the Schrodinger cabs.
But and I think their partnership for heads is with that Ike EICH company. It was at one point. They might have their own thing now. I don't know. But yeah, Schroeder cabs. Buy without
I don't think
fear.
I've ever heard of them.
Right.
I haven't heard that name in years. Ike. Wow. That's like 2008, 2010 for me.
Yeah, there was a partnership between those two. I don't know if there still is or not. But you used to be able to buy. I think you used to be able to buy Ike heads on Schroeder's website. But yeah, Schroeder cabs are great.
See,
I haven't made the round like basses. There's not a lot of companies I couldn't tell you much about. But
yeah,
amps,
same here.
I haven't made the rounds the same way with amps. I'm trying to think. Like I used to be big on a company called Carvin. I played those for years, and then Gensler. I was big on Gensler for a while. And then
that's the one that Nate Navarro uses, right? Has
Gensler's
like the big
stuff.
Speakers, and then he has like a line of smaller ones in the front.
It's great if you don't like. It's kind of pointless for me now because I use in-ears, but if the cool thing about those cabinets is their range was crazy. And almost everywhere you stood in relation to that cabinet, it sounded the same, which that's kind of nice when you're not playing live because you never know where you'll be in relation to your amp.
Yeah, and especially
you don't get an accurate representation of what it sounds like. That wasn't the case with the Bass Array system. I'm using in-ears now, so I'm not even really. The amp.
They actually mute him during this performance, but he can hear himself, so it's fine.
That's probably a good idea, honestly.
That's what I
But
tell him to do for me. Earlier
but
today, the guy running the sound accidentally killed the bass out of everything. I couldn't even hear myself. He just muted the whole signal. And I was like, man, I've never sounded better.
but yeah, and then it was GK, and then all that happened. It's been Trickfish, but I've always liked the Ampeg Rocket series, and now I'm big on the Ampeg Venture.
Yeah, if there's one Ampeg, I would go back because I used to have the 112 and I sold that. I want to try the 115s because every time I go to a Guitar Center, I'm always plugging into the 115s, always, just because they just sound good to me. Yeah.
See, I like the 210. I think that's
210.
the best stuff.
Yeah.
But I like 10s, and I use 8s and 10s and 12s. That's really I don't really mess with 15s very often.
I have my positive grid. I'm pretty sure it's a 2-4. Pretty sure the speakers are like a 4 or a 5.
Yeah, I know like 15s for me, they sound good, like at least by itself. Like it's not like with any other band accompaniment because I know they can kind of like get muddy sometimes. Clarity isn't really that best in terms of note definition on a 15 from my experience. So I've always just messed with 12s and I am recently curious to try 10s again because the last gig that I played, the band was like, "Oh, you can just use our backline. You don't have to bring your rig or anything." So I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't got to worry about that." So the rig was like a backline 410 combo stack of an Ampeg because the guy that was headlining the show, his rig was a RB 210 and a Ampeg 210 cab, which was like probably a different model or line, just so we can like stack the two.
Yeah,
And it sounded beautiful. The bass I brought was like a P bass with flats, so that really killed, and that was amazing. Everyone was like, "Whoa!" And first time in a long time in years, I had like 3 people come up to me like complimenting my bass tone, and I haven't had that in years, so that was really cool. I did a good job that night.
The night that Sono didn't bring his own stuff, he got complimented. So what does that tell you about
I know,
Sono's
right?
preferences?
And my rig personally is GK, so that also says something, right?
Oh, I loved it. I loved the GK amps. I just, and like I said, this was so long ago that there's probably not anybody there that was part of that. So
Yeah, I was going to say probably not, because the attitude from that company has changed. Because I have noticed in the past, like in the mid 2000s, it was very like exclusive at most.
It was just very like I wasn't a big enough deal to matter. It was like, yeah. I mean that was the sense that I got, whether it was
like you weren't part of the clique.
Yeah, but it was like, okay, I'm aware. I don't need you guys to tell me that I'm not wildly successful. But it was just like, man, like this is supposed to have a 1-year warranty, and you're just basically. They said that they don't make that my motherboard's fried, and they don't make that motherboard anymore. So there was nothing they could do, and I was like, well, there's plenty you could do, but. And it just was very like, yeah, sorry, you're just not. And so I was like, okay, well, you can pull all my stuff off the website, and I'm gonna go a different avenue.
Find something else.
But this is another company. My Fender.
Oh, there it is. Nice. Lakeland.
So, yeah, my Fender is Lakeland. This is just.
I was about to say they misspelled Fender something fierce on that headstock.
But this is like I don't gig this bass because I don't know what I would do if something were to happen to it. I record everything on this. It's got Labella flats on. They're probably about 5 years old, if I had to guess. And this is just like it's a U.S. one, but it's like it's the cheaper U.S. ones, the mass-produced ones.
Oh, okay.
And man, one of my best friends actually works at Sweetwater. We grew up together, and he's the reason I play music, actually. But I went out to visit him, and he knows Lakeland is for like I'm with Reverend. I love Reverend, but Lakeland will always be a staple for me. Um, I'm a Reverend guy, but I'm also very much a Lakeland guy. That's the cool thing is like Reverend does like cool weird stuff and tries stuff. Lakeland's like very traditional, so like all my traditional stuff is Lakeland, and all my wild stuff is Reverend. Um, but yeah, this base is on a lot of stuff that I've done, and yeah, that's the reason I don't gig it is because if something happened to it, I'd be upset.
Oh yeah, I would believe that, especially if it's like your number one. I would never
It is. What's that?
like I would never bring a number one to a gig, especially if I
Mm-mm.
know that it's going to be those type of gigs where it's not going to like survive or
And there's
I want
certain
to.
reverends that I won't, that I
Yeah,
don't anymore because it just, man, it's. I don't really have any reverends that have any kind of sentimental value. Like this has been on so many things that I've recorded that there is kind of a sentimental aspect to it now. Um, but yeah, I there's reverends that I'm just like, man, it's not like a sentimental thing. It's just I really like this thing and I don't want anything to happen to it, so I'm not going
yeah,
to take gigging.
it's a
And then
museum
there's
piece.
yeah, then the other well, it's just like that's what I when I think about playing, that's what I pick up. Some of the like, so it's I just don't want to lose it. And I don't think you should gig anything
Hmm.
you're not willing to lose.
Exactly.
So Dino put in another comment, I guess, about those same cabs. Said
Hmm.
he has a 1210L and a
Hmm.
101215 triad.
Yeah, that's the one
Um,
I had.
he says he doesn't use them at the same time, of course.
No, I
But he
never
said
did.
he pairs the triad with a Seymour Duncan 700 power stage.
Oh, those amps.
I've never tried.
Yeah,
I've never messed with them.
I think those were was that
it
wasn't
was.
this year. That was the year before, right?
Yeah, it
That
was in
they debuted those.
2025.
I
Because
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I knew about them.
they
I
had
just
the
never
little
played them.
box. I remember right next to the boutique section, they had the little soundproof box, and then
yeah,
they
I
had the
remember
one
that.
outside of it, and you couldn't try the one that was outside, but you also weren't
Yeah,
allowed in the
I, I
soundproof
I found
box.
that funny because yeah, they did that to me. Same thing as well. They're all like, "Oh, you want to try it? Oh, we actually have it in the sound box. Just come on in and we'll just bring the bass and just play it there." And that to me was like probably the worst experience I ever got trying to test that amp out because I wasn't a fan. Even Dibble was all like, but then he like reached out. They were able to send it to him, and he was all like, "Okay, yeah, this changes my mind." And I've noticed something too. When you demo something at NAMM, you're never gonna have a good first impression just because of the
Not an
atmosphere,
amp.
the crowd,
Yeah.
If you
especially on
think
an
it's
amp
good
too.
at NAM,
Yeah,
imagine how
it's
good it is not in the worst place
See,
to try anything.
exactly,
well, that's the thing is
exactly.
Trickfish still sounded good to me in that
Yeah.
room, and
And you're like,
that was
wow.
why like when it all went south with the other company, I was like, man, I'm going to call that Trickfish company and see what they got, see what's up.
I'll
I got one
forever
Yeah.
more
quote I'll forever
company.
quote AMP on NAM. It's like if you want to know what NAM is, just think of all the worst parts of Guitar Center.
Like that's it.
Yeah, I remember that video. That was a funny one.
Got a million people walking around. You've got 58 guitar heroes like that. I will say the worst experience of all of the NAM stuff I had wasn't at Reverend, but it was right next to Reverend when I was visiting the awesome folks at AC Guitars. Because someone sat down at the Reverend booth, grabbed one of the guitars, and I swear to God, cranked every single thing on the amp for the guitar to max and
Oh
just
my
starts
god.
like not even that good trying to shred across everything. And you can see the people at Reverend like really trying to not have to go over there and shut it down, but also you could tell they really wanted to, and it was just awful. Like I'm hearing impaired and I was 30 feet away and I was like, oh, this is bad. Why is it so loud? And then the people at AC Guitars are like, happens all day, just all day.
There we
That's
go.
unfortunate.
I got one more. This is like a wild card. This is like a if you're going full custom, big budget, whole deal.
So the headstock look wild.
What brand is this?
So this is Bootleg by John Hill.
Okay.
And this is a design that I came up with that is okay. It's not the best thing I've ever designed, but the build quality and everything is fantastic.
cool.
I like the X Tender.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted a super modern base, so it has it's got a Delano X-Tender. I think they call this the bridge pickup a candy bar, and then it has a Delano preamp. But it's
I love the thumb rest and the look of the X Tender. It's fantastic.
It sounds great. I find myself usually soloing that pickup. It's a great instrument. John Hill. So the only reason I know about him is I'm going to show my age here. Big into Dave Matthews back in the day, and Stefan Lassard was having his basses made by him for a while, and so I was like, man, I had this idea, and I was like, man, I'll see if he's just in Cleveland. I'll see if he wants to do it, and he does, and luckily he did, and he built it, and super communicative throughout the build process. Anytime I messaged asking for an update, he was like, yep. He would send pictures. Like it wasn't, it was a full custom build, so and he does everything. I think he does a little bit of stuff by CNC, but it's mostly hand. And it took time, it took forever, but the end product was well worth it.
I was gonna say, yeah, usually the wait time is what's worth it, especially when the after results come in and you're just like, yeah, this checks all the boxes. Oh yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah, and this is like, I'm just not doing like I wanted a super modern sounding bass, and I'm right now I'm touring with a soul band. There's just no call for it. But in terms of its
going to bust out the GK rig and start hammering it. In terms
of its like playability and all that, like it's got it. Anytime I pick up a jazz gig, I take this.
It's nice.
That's the one that you'd said it took. That was the one you talked about that took a while, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said,
full
handmade.
Custom. Yeah.
Oh, did we lose him?
Well, he said handmade. That's all you need to know.
Like he's still right now. It's taking a while.
He's staring us down, daring us to do something.
There he goes. You're
there
back.
he is. Oh, he moved.
Perfect.
There he is.
Awesome.
Chris is going to win the staring contest. Let me tell you.
But yeah, in terms of like a custom builder that I don't think gets his due, John Hill makes really good stuff. And like I said, you're when you search him, you're going to see you're going to see a lot of things. But just keep in mind that he's a custom builder, so he builds what people tell him. It doesn't, some of it's pretty 80s looking, but that's what people are ordering, so that's what he builds. And this one, by contrast, is a very like a modern look thing. Very I love tame. The body shape. Yeah.
So you said John Hill Bass makes instruments that look very 80s-esque?
Yes. He has, across the board,
Yeah,
he's been doing it for a long time.
Might be up my alley. Might.
Yeah. It's worth a look, man. And like I said, you just reach out to him and he's super communicative. Like he ain't gonna leave you hanging.
That's good.
But guys, I'm going to be getting off of here.
Cool. Yeah, man. Anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for the insightful comments too on brands.
Sure. Another one last company to plug would be Rattlesnake Cable. About the price of a Megami, but you get to pick the colors and all that and how you want the plugs to be. Like I always do a right angle and then a straight. You get to pick all that. It's all Neutrik jacks, but yeah, Rattlesnake Cables. I didn't grab
awesome.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll look into that as well because there's another company that does that similarly that lives like around the corner to where I live called Tsunami Cables. But check this out. Yeah.
So I've had Tsunami Cables and they're good too. but Hank up at Rattlesnake, man, like he sends it in like a canvas bag, so it's like a snake.
Oh, that's so
And like
cool.
hand writes notes to everybody that buys stuff, and it's just like he goes the extra mile with stuff, and
I like
But
that.
does
like
he include a small bag of candy?
he does not. But you get a free post-it pad, a post-it notepad.
Oh, that's so cool.
So,
Heck yeah. I'm gonna
yeah,
write my notes on that.
They
yeah,
currently have
yeah.
an XLR cable blowout sale for the next 5 hours, 46 minutes, and 55
There
seconds.
you go.
I'm just saying.
All right. XLRs. I need more of those anyway. Can't go wrong with more.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate that shout out. That's awesome.
Well, every gig you have, if you're like me, every gig you have less of it.
Yep.
But all right, guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anytime.
Did I freeze again?
No, you're fine.
Oh, I said, all right, guys, thanks for having me. I'm gonna hop off of here though.
Yeah, your
All
face
right.
froze, but we could still hear you.
All right.
So we got the
Thanks,
worst of
guys.
all of it. But
Cool, man. Have a good night.
bye. And then there were two, and a frozen guy. There we go. I was about to say, I'll just put
Awesome.
Chris out of his misery here. But then he went away. Let's see. Zoom that back. Oh gosh, they don't need to see me that big. There we go. There.
Oh man, high def. Why not? 4K.
Yeah,
Right.
you can
4K
see the
resolution.
glare in. Yeah, no, this is 720 for the entire video. So
You're gonna
not-
need the textures of your face.
I do
you know?
not pay for the premium. Crazy.
We gotta show off those in-video graphics that everyone's overpaying for now.
I liked the other day, I was walking through the entertainment section of my store, and we had a locking case where at my store we sell like PC components because we're a college town. So maybe someone's going to be desperate and need pieces that they're going to come to Walmart to buy it as opposed to, online. And there was like, I think it was a 16 gig piece of DDR4 in clearance, and it was just off in the corner for $90. And I just snapped a photo of it and looked, and it's like, these go for $200 online. I was like, I'm not willing to try to resell that, but somebody might. Just throw that on Facebook real quick. Someone will buy it, get it out of the case. No, have you ever had any experience with any of the Trace Elliott stuff?
The Tiny Elf, and I believe their 210 cab, but this was like during the Sam Ash era, 2006, like 2010 era for me, just because, back then, Sam Ash, they used to have a lot of Trace Elliott cabs alongside with Harkey. And I remember trying to shop for my first amp, and I chose Harkey instead of the Trace Elliott.
Bully brought the Elf head, which I think is a 300-watt head.
Yeah.
I had the 200-watt 8-inch combo, and it sounded really nice, but the only thing was, again, it was 200 watts, and I'm using it in this room, which based on the camera makes it look like the room's really long, but this room's like
it's kind of short.
8 by 14, 10 by 14, something like that. So
okay,
like trying to play that, it was like, no audio, very dim. Okay, now it's right. And if I move it a quarter of a millimeter, everyone in the house is going to hear it. So very much don't super glue the knob down, but if there's an option, little set screw somewhere for that volume knob. But they were just another one when you guys were talking about like the Schroeder and stuff. But yeah, no, another, like, I don't know on like the ethics of companies or anything like that, but one company I do like the way they've handled their stuff, which they're not a really long-term company, but I like their products and I like how they've handled them, is like the Positive Grid stuff. They seem to they don't seem to oversaturate the market with stupid number of options for things. They seem to go like, what's needed, can we do that? Like they had the original Spark, and then they made the Spark Go or the Spark Mini, the smaller one. Then they made the little tiny 5 watt that's basically a keychain. Um, they came out with the Spark 2. They did the PA, the Live, which has 4 inputs. They have the Edge, which is a 65 watt like angled PA. They have the Cab. Like I like how they've done stuff, and I think they've only changed their price like once since everything got started. I think the cab's gone up once, and I don't think, or the original Spark 40 I think went up once, and I don't think they've really raised their prices on the rest of it. But most of their stuff, I have the Spark 2, and it's what I use, and it's truly an FRFR, just with modeling built in. Um, but like I do like how they seem to have done stuff where a lot of and now they have the new one. I don't remember what it's called, but they did a specific guitar amp that they don't advertise for bass, but they have like a switch on the back of the bigger one where you can tell it whether it's running at like 120, 50, or 100 watts. So that like if you're at home practicing, you can flip it down to 1 watt, and then your volume's going to be, a bit more managed, which I thought was neat.
Oh yeah, I believe the Boss Katana guitar amps use that, and I think
Mm.
that's also a really cool feature too. Because when I used to have the guitar amp. I had sold it a few months ago actually, because I don't really play guitar like that anymore. And whenever I do, I just plug it direct to an audio interface and get my sounds from there. But yeah, I like that feature where it could just go from like 0.5 watt to 20 and then 100, just a huge
I
gap.
mean, I think that would be really neat on some. I mean, I don't think many people would use it, but could you imagine that feature on like Chris's 8x8? Like,
I
I
mean,
don't need multiple amps if I just put this wall right here and then I flip
yeah.
it to 10 watts.
hmm This
I don't
guitar
need my floors to come off of the support beams. I don't need that.
this guitar center that's like about, without traffic, an hour and a half away. Um, this guitar center had the 8x8 cabinet that Chris has, and I remember seeing it and it looked really cool. But I don't know what's up with Guitar Center, but they've been clearancing all of their Ampeg stuff. I don't know if they're like no longer partnering with them, or I don't know what they're just
I
trying to get rid
saw
of
that
inventory.
when I was looking up the weight on Chris's, they have his 8x8 on it showed it was on sale instead of like 16 or 1800. I think it's like $200 off.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if hopefully I took a photo of it, but they had it on clearance, and I've noticed with Guitar Center they like to like do in-house deals, like specific location only stuff
Mm.
of clearancing their inventory, and I think they had it for like 900 or 1200 for the
Dang.
yeah, and I'm just
Let's
like
say
this
because
is
that's
really cheap.
1800, and I just looked it up on I just Googled it, and it shows 1619 for the website. But of course, if the store has something and they're like, we've got one left, we got to get it out of here. What is, oh, okay, that one's an open box because I clicked on it and now it's showing the 1619 10% off open box available. So it's an open box clearance, so I guess you get 10% off of that. So if the one person watching wants a VB88, go get it now. Just saying.
There's also another local guitar center that I go to the most. I usually go there for tech help if I don't have the right tools to get things done. I just go to my guy. They have I don't know if they still have it, but they have a Yamaha BB734 that they're trying to sell for like 430, and it's like super cheap, $430 for his 734 BB series model for Yamaha, and it's a beautiful bass. And I find it funny because it's a scratch and dent type of clearance, but there's no
Mhm.
scratches or dent on the bass. So I'm like,
I like I
I
went
I find that
the
funny.
the closer of the two guitar centers that I will go to, just because again it is the closest. I remember going in there when I was first wanting to play bass, and it was like an Ibanez and I don't know what series it was. It was some sort of like exotic woods and all sorts of craziness. Had like the oval, almost like mother of pearl or pearloid inlays that were like bigger than what you see on a Music Man, but oval. And I thought it was beautiful. I think it was a Zebrano if I was to make a guess, but I could be completely wrong. And I remember seeing it and it was like, this is a $1,500 base and we have it on clearance for 720 because it's scratch and dent. And I asked to look at it and it was like on the back side of the upper horn, there was a chunk missing. Like someone had hit it with something and like a whole just scab of the wood had come off. And I remember seeing it and I was like, man, that is like my budget was the bottom of the barrel. Like what I left with was a Ray 4. That was on clearance that day. So I got it like $50 off. And I just remember thinking I really liked the SR shape, how it rounded all the way to thin on the sides. It wasn't more of a slab body. And then it was, I don't know, 2-3 months later, we went back because I was like, at that point, I didn't like have a good case. I just had a cheap gig bag. And I was like, I really don't like throwing this in the car, taking it to the church to play. I'm worried I'm going to drop it and it's going to get broken. I have to buy another one. So, in hindsight, I don't want to risk breaking this and have to buy another one. So I instead bought another one so that I could have one at home to practice, which in hindsight, I could have just risked breaking it. It would have cost me the same amount of money or less. But, hey, whatever. So I ended up getting another different finish Ray 4 so I could practice at home with the same instrument as what I left at the church. And when we went back, it was like 2-3 months later, and that same one was almost on I swear it could have been on the exact same hanger that Ibanez. And I was like, I really like that. And I was like, hey, so like random salesperson, what can you tell me about that bass? And the guy's like, oh yeah, it's been here forever. Like, let me go look. And he goes to the computer and clicky clicks and comes back and he's like, yeah, that thing's been here for like a year. Like it came off the truck damaged. So we marked it down and we've marked it down again. And I think instead of the 720 it was down to like, I think they had it like 689 or some weird price that like wasn't even eye catching. And I was like, what can you guys do on it? Like if it's been here a year, it's got a chunk missing out of it. There's no telling how many times it's been beaten up here in a year. Like it's probably got a whole Big Mac in the strings at this point. Like it's got everything on it. And the guy's like, well, that's the only price. Like that's less than what we paid to get it here. I was like, but it's been here a year. And he's like, yeah, I mean, he's like, it's a corporation. They'll just let it stay until someone buys it. I was like, okay. So I bought the other Ray 4 and it was there the next time I went a few months later. And I was like, is there a manager around? Like, I want that bass, but I don't want it at 690. And the manager comes over, he goes away and he comes back. He's like, yeah, it's less than what we got it for. And I was like, it's been here over a year. He's like, well, how do you know that? It's like, well, one, I've seen it for like a year. And two, someone told me it was here a year when I was here the last time. And he was like, yeah, no, that's the lowest I can go. Eventually, I guess someone bought it because the last time I went, it wasn't there. But like, had they been like, we could do $500, I would have had it because I thought it was cool looking. I don't know if I'd have kept it because now that I've had a few SRs, like they're not bad. I really like them. I hate that stupid jack, but I've complained about it until I'm blue in the face.
No one likes it. Yeah, I find those Nutric locking mechanism.
No, this one was the SR that has the jack that's at like a 2.0% by 12.5% angle where nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like
not even a right angle
out of the front of the base. It's like not mounted to the front. It's
right.
Like
it's a weird angle.
I tried plugging in the positive grid spark link.
Forget right
won't
angles.
Work. But I could plug this one into the second one I had.
Yes.
The first one wouldn't plug in. So I ended up buying a 6-inch, quarter-inch to quarter-inch extension cable, and it just kind of like had a thing just dangling around to make it work. It was like if your design guarantees Like, and I know why they put it because I watched a thing about it because I Googled it. I was like, why is this so stupid? And they were
Yeah,
like, it was designed so you could have a straight cable that plugs into it and it's at the perfect angle to wrap around the strap button while you're playing. It's like
exactly.
you solved a problem that people have solved 70 years ago. It's a
And
right angle cable and then you just loop it. Like it doesn't need to be the perfect angle for a straight cable. They make right angle cables. This you just I don't you played yourself. That's what happened here. And I've complained a
exactly.
lot.
That's
But
where they
you
get
said
you.
the BB was a 734.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
probably not online because it's one of those
Yeah, I
in-store
tried
deals.
looking on I'm looking on there and I see like a used 735 for 649.
Yeah.
They do
Maybe after
have
this live
they have
stream, I'll
like
probably
two
find it
three
again.
234 434 435. But yeah, there's a 7. I like how I type in BB 734 and one of the results. Did you mean Ibanez BTB
It's
7745?
no,
I understand.
no.
It's like the letters are close. There's an extra letter in there and the numbers are really close. But
Look, it includes bag.
well, there you go. You'll have to give them a 1-star review if the bag's not with it. Just saying. Go tear them apart on Yelp.
Yeah, like hardly any dent there. And this was taken like maybe
That
a week
is, I
ago.
love that finish. That
It is a
green.
beautiful finish. I had the 5-string one. And it's a
If
really nice
it,
finish.
if it was, if you had, if that was a 735 in that finish at that price, I would be calling. Well, my wife's watching a movie with the kids right now at the movie theater, so she wouldn't answer if I called. I would be like, Sono, need you to send me the pictures you just showed me. I
What's
will be
crazy
asking you to go get that for me.
What's crazy is that I didn't know you're in the market for that specific brand or
Oh, I'm
model
not.
type.
I'm
Oh,
not.
okay. Because I had sold
But it's
it.
content.
I had sold it really cheap actually, because I had bought it from this music company, like a mom and pop shop through Reverb, called Morals Music, and I ended up selling it like $150 less than what I paid for it. It was like $500 just for that, and I was like,
My
yeah, someone
my
can get a deal for it.
my heart about dropped. I thought you were about to say you sold it for $150. I was like, Sono, if you have a bass for $150,
Oh, if I
please
would have
let
done
me
that,
know.
I would have just sold that at the Guitar Center. They would have gave me that for 175.
I mean,
Nah, I mean, it was okay. Like I have video on it. I made a review on it. I
mhm.
Again, I really want to dedicate my time today after this live stream to learn how to video edit on DaVinci Resolve, because I don't have a Premiere anymore, and I used Premiere for over 5 years. And because I don't want to keep up with their monthly payment stuff anymore, I'd rather just do it free. So I'm
If
hoping
that
like
one doesn't work out, may I recommend iMovie?
so
Pinnacle.
I don't mind iMovie, but what
That's
I
all I
don't
use.
like is I have to do everything through a drop click thing. I don't have there's like for me there's no shortcuts. I love the Premiere for the shortcuts and I use it a lot. It saves me a lot of time for editing.
Hmm.
And I just couldn't do that with iMovie for some reason. It just didn't work. I'm just like
I
I gotta drag
I
everything.
just I'd say I do everything on iMovie on the iPad. So,
Oh man,
like, I'm
that's a struggle.
probably I'm about to say, but I don't know any better. So I can imagine it could get easier, but
Yeah.
for
Well, I
all
mean,
whatever it is, 465 people who put themselves through the torture of watching my stuff, like they're used to this quality at this point. They don't expect better.
yeah, and like I don't know, like I'm also, in online school as well, and I've just been dedicating my time off just studying a lot more than playing bass. Like the last time I played bass was like probably 3 days ago, just coming up with a riff and just recording it for potential like new music stuff for the channel, on top of like new music for myself because I want to start creating music again for next year. So I'm just kind of gearing up myself for next year to hopefully create music like I used to almost
You're
like
in the
8 years
band
ago.
still, though, right?
Well, I'm not really like in a band per se because I just kind of filling in for random people that need bass.
Okay.
So I've just been kind of helping out those type of people. Like the last gig, it was for an indie band that has like a very Beach Boys, Beatles type sound influence. So I helped them out. And then this last band, they're also like taking a break. It was like a metal band. So like very,
That's the one I thought you were in.
oh no, no. I mean, I guess I'm in it, but they're
Because
not
that's
really
why you
doing,
got the Spectre, right?
yeah. And I used it for that specifically for that band. But once I'm done, since they're right now recording music, I might consider um I might consider something else than that Spectre. Just because over time I'm not a huge fan of that neck, and maybe it's because of the multi-scale layout. So I kind of want to look for that same model, but what is it, non multi-scale.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
the one that I have that I figured you'd like to at least try out, that one's multi-scale as well, but it's not the 3437. I think it's like a 33 and a half to 36.
Oh,
So
okay.
not as drastic as the Spectre, but a little more so than the EHB.
Right.
And that one
Okay.
should be here. The last estimate, like I had to fill out paperwork for UPS to confirm that it wasn't made of composite wood
Oh wow. Okay.
and that I had to confirm nothing in it wasn't like an illegal toxic substance. But I like that they
Interesting.
had the receiver fill that out. Like I didn't pack the box. I don't know what he put in that box. I know what I ordered. I don't know what he put in the box. Like, why do I have to put a signature saying, yes, it has none of this in it? For all I know, it's packed
Wow.
with methamphetamines. I don't know. Like, but no, that one, that last estimate, I think, was the second. So hopefully it's here this week. Um, he put regular, I think he put regular D'Addario, like whatever the standard nickels are, the NYXLs or whatever, um, the standard ones. But I still have some of the ones I got from NAM, so I'm probably going to swap those out. I think I'm going to try the XS on them, the super thin coated D'Addario strings that are
That's
that
right.
are nice and bright. Um, I think I'm going to swap it for those. I also have the DR Black Dragons too, so I'm not 100% sure which way I'll go with it, but uh, I'll try them both out and see how it works before I start sending it to anybody. But probably the XS because they have such longevity, and I've had them on other stuff and they sound really good. But we'll see. I think so far there's only 2 or 3 of us who are going to look at that one in particular.
Very nice.
But
Yeah, I
maybe
would
you'll
love
love
to.
it and you'll want it, and then we can figure that out.
Yeah, because I've been really picky lately with 5 string because I never keep a 5 string for long, and when I do, it's like
Forever.
either it's hard for me to move it or I just don't really have the desire to pick it up. Like I just want a good 5 string that can just do everything. And I know it's kind of like unrealistic to say that, but I would love to have a 5 string that does everything. Like if I were to have kept the Yamaha, I would have kept it and known for a fact it can do certain styles well and other styles it won't do well. And my experience with that was for that bass, it just did not do well in a metal band context at all. I felt like my B string was hardly ever
I definitely have not
evident.
recalled seeing Yamaha BBs on many metal stages. I don't
Exactly.
recall it. It could have happened. Could have happened.
Maybe it could have happened probably like in the
It's
90s or
like
something
it's like
when
not
they were
often
pretty
have
good.
I seen anyone on a metal band playing a Hofner violin. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
exactly.
it can't do it. I'm just saying that I've not seen it happen.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm just kind of like, yeah, maybe I'm thinking
I
about it
do like
unrealistically.
I do like the Hofner violin headstock shape. Like that might be a weird just throw out there, but I like the shape.
I like the iconic shape. It just I don't think it'll do well in any other musical
No, I just
context. Like
like the headstock. I hate the bass. I like the headstock. Like the one last time I was at a so not yesterday, but a week before yesterday, my oldest is going to turn 16, and she had yet to drive on the interstate. So it was decided she was going to spend a chunk of the day driving on the interstate. And we just headed toward St. Louis, the nearest city. And then it was, oh, we have a Telford White in the comments. Hello, says, what's up, OB and Sono? We are talking now just about random crap. But if you go back in the video, you'll see when Chris was here, we stayed on topic and we talked about companies
Yeah.
that do things right, which we'll
These are
probably
the
circle back to that.
These are the after
Um,
hours.
but yeah, I had Chris is gone, no one to supervise us. But so I had her driving, and then I was like, you know what? There's a Guitar Center in the town just before St. Louis for the way we normally drive. And she wanted to go to an actual mall because where I live, none of the malls are a mall anymore. There's like 2 stores and that's it.
I was gonna say,
Um,
yeah. At this point, it's
so
just an
we,
outlet.
we went to an actual mall, and then we went over to Guitar Center first. And while we were there, they had 2 or 3, I think, violin bases, and I pulled them down and like they had all the amps had like 1/4 inch cables ready and sitting on top, but none of them had power cables.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it was like you guys almost made it. Y'all almost.
I know.
I looked around and the only one that had a power cable was like a really expensive um I think it was like the biggest, like the 2x10 combo Ampeg rocket. And I was like, I don't know if that's its actual power cable. I don't want to go taking it off this because I don't want to play that. Like I don't want that big thing. I'm just gonna go over to like the 1x8 because I don't need to be nobody needs to be put through listening to me play. So I was just sitting there playing it like acoustically, and to me it just sounded awful. And I was like, okay, maybe this one's not good. And I grabbed the other one, exactly the same. I was like, okay, that's not bass for me. But yeah, no. So made her do a whole bunch of driving. Here's a fun question for you that shows my levels of ignorance. If I were to ask you with a family friendly mindset,
Okay.
what
Yes.
the store Spencer's is known for selling.
Is that the question? What are Spencer's known to sell?
Yeah, yeah. If someone said, "Hey, what is Spencer's most known for selling in their establishment?"
Um,
Because I'm old, so my answer is not apparently what everyone knows them for now.
yeah, I was gonna say because now it's way different, but back then for me, it was nothing but music band T-shirts, posters, very like novelty type gag toys, like as if you
Yeah,
were going to like
that's
a
all I
comedy
knew
shop.
him for.
Yeah,
I knew him for the like fake dog turds and fake
yeah, yeah.
vomit and whoopee
Cheap
cushions.
gum tricks, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Like that was
yeah.
fun, back then as a kid, because I just already shows my age already. But the last time I went to a Spencer's was last year, but I was on a date, and this date was like they were like 24 at the time, and yeah, it was like totally different. I haven't been or walked into one in years, and I looked at it now, and I'm just like, oh, that's what they sell. And of course, she like took me there and was just showing me all this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know if you're getting
Interesting.
any ideas, but I don't like this. Like, I don't
Like
like this
I
one bit.
so we're walking through this mall. Again, I'm with my kid. And
Oh, yeah.
I get the look of like, can we go to Spencer's? And I'm sitting here like, you don't care about fake dog turds and whoopee cushions, but okay. So we go in and they have like a lot of like not Funko Pops, but like similar stuff like anime figures and then the shirts and all that other stuff. And she 100% stays in that section. And me being me, I'm like, I'm just wandering around and I guess there's a back of the store and I wander
Yep.
back there and I see a thing and I'm just laughing in my head because I'm like that unicorn toy looks like
Yeah,
some
the
something else
unicorn.
and then I look above it and then I see um some lady named Mia on a box. I
Wow.
think she lives in the Burj Khalifa. And her and it
No
was
way.
I see that and I was like, it's like right above that unicorn, and I go, oh,
Yeah,
that's what that
yeah.
is. And then my kid just goes walking by, and I was like, did you know? She's like, that's what they're known for. It's like, no, they're not. They're known for dog
They weren't
turds.
known for that. I mean, because back then, yeah.
And then I just, like, I'm at work, and probably as HR I shouldn't have asked, but I walk around, I'm asking other associates when I'm like on lunch. I was like, what does Spencer's sell? Just like that. People are coming up
Wow.
with the exact, and I was like, okay, I'm the ignorant one who doesn't know this, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
just
No.
the old fat bald guy who happens to have teenage kids and has to learn things the hard way, that things have changed.
Oh yeah, things have drastically changed. Because I
Now, when
missed
I
how it
walk in a
was back
Guitar
then.
Center and they have those particular instruments,
Oh no, I think that's when we just go downhill as a society. No, but like I'm pretty sure your kid's age is what I experienced Spencer's back then when we were growing up. I loved to go into Spencer's a lot because they also sold a lot of like game related stuff. Like I remember
yeah,
they used to like they also I forgot because last night I was going
because they
through
were
my
around before
parents'
Hot
shed.
Topic, so they had
No,
that
yeah,
niche really filled on T-shirts,
Ye-
posters, like
yeah.
nerd stuff.
Yes, they also had sold at the time when Spider-Man, the first movie with Tobey Maguire, they were selling action figures to promote the film. And I remember getting one of those, and I also had gotten a Hulk lava lamp, the first Hulk movie, um, from the 2000s, the bad CGI,
Mhm.
and they were selling Hulk merchandise at Spencer's too. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
cool. I remember buying the lava lamp, and they also had sold Kiss figurines of like the band members in a box. And I remember getting that too as a kid, Kiss action figures. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Kiss back then, but I just loved how they looked. And obviously, ignorance is bliss when you're young. You don't care. You just think it's a toy, and I want to play with it because it's got a dude with a long ass tongue and a guitar or a bass at the time.
I
I
mean,
was
why
like, oh,
not?
cool. Why not? This was like
His
me 10, 12
guitar
years old.
looks like an axe. This is amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, this is so
He's
cool. And I
like a
was just
D&D bard. He can chop people down and play music.
yeah. And I didn't really know too much of Kiss. My mom was a fan, so like she would always tell me who these people were, and I'm just like, cool. But like,
Sure, that guy
yeah,
looks like
Spencer's
a
back then was
cat. That
awesome.
guy looks, his face is shiny. Sounds
Yeah,
great.
no, but like 100% Spencer's was so cool back then. And they also sold a lot of action figure based games like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry. Yeah, I remember they used to sell Devil May
I
Cry
I
figurines.
I told my oldest while we were walking around, because we go in all these different stores and every single one of them seems to have either like anime memorabilia, Funko Pops, or whatever. I was like, I remember, like, there were two stores that sold anything to do with anime,
Yeah.
and no other store would touch it. And now it's like everywhere is like nerd
Oh
stuff
yeah.
everywhere.
I kind of miss back then when I used to get bullied in school for liking anime. I remember those times. Those were good times. I used to be called many names because I
Those were
loved.
good times being bullied. It was wonderful.
I
Maybe
know it
he'll
was good
show up
times.
today if we talk about it
Yeah,
enough.
I used to be
He'll
called a weirdo
materialize.
for liking Naruto. Um, what else? Zatch Bell, freaking
Oh
Death Note.
gosh, haven't thought of that for a long time.
Woo! Death Note was another anime that
Box
people thought I was
man.
like weird for liking because it's like, why do you like a random dude that just writes names in people's books? And I'm like, well, if you like read it, you'll probably understand why you like it. And they never did. They just thought it was
By the
so
way, I
cheesy.
have this book. Would you sign your autograph
Yeah.
on this for
Hey,
me?
would you put your name on this
Think
book?
about your own face while you write your name. I need you to do that for me.
Oh, then liking Yu-Gi-Oh too, because I used to like play the card
Oh,
game in school. I'd always
see, the
bring my
thing,
deck with me.
I think
Good
the thing to
times.
get the normies involved, especially like the big bad ones, was you just played them the second Death Note opening theme, and then if they hear that and they're like, "This sounds awesome," you're like, "You know what that's from?
Yeah.
Cartoon. You're
Yeah,
welcome."
exactly. Came from cartoons, man, that now we have socially accepted and it's just become a normal thing now. And
Telford's throwing out, one of the real OGs, Inuyasha, where you stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then
I was just thinking Toonami era.
mm, Toonami,
Yeah.
which, it's great that you say it that way, because, back in the day, originally Adult Swim wasn't at night, because it came on right after school on
Yeah.
it came on, and then it was like, okay, all kids out of the pool, it's time for Adult Swim. And then they played the like TV 13, 14 and up shows. And
Right.
then they were like, oh, this is like right as kids are getting out of school. Obviously, we shouldn't be playing it now. So then they moved it to nighttime. And then Toonami came in, was like, you know, all you guys like these cartoons from Japan. Here's some that are Code Lyoko. Here's some
Oh
of
my
that.
gosh, that's another throwback.
They're also
Um,
supposed to be doing a reboot, I heard.
I heard about that too.
Gonna
Yeah.
finish the show. They just never finished.
I would love for them to bring back Xavier Renegade. That was my show back then. Just the silly brain rot of what it was back then. That was our brain rot back then. That show was just out of the world, man. Crazy.
There were great shows, and then Adult Swim realized that, you know, there are also people who will just watch anything because it's late at night, and you get stuff like Saul of the Mole Men and Tom Goes to See the Mayor and just Drinky Crow and all sorts of awfulness, and you're just like, I mean, to Telford's point, I just want to watch Inuyasha. Why do I have to watch like 5 other shows before I get to the one that I want to? This starts at 10 o'clock. Can't we have Inuyasha first? And then I can go to bed, get up for school tomorrow, and not be tired. I used to have an alarm clock that went off at 3 o'clock in the morning so I could watch Inuyasha. And then
That's
I finally
insane.
figured out how to program a VCR
Yeah.
to record. Well, we I mean, there wasn't DVR back then unless you were fancy and you bought, what was it, TiVo? You had
I
to
remember
buy
those
the
TiVo days.
separate DVR.
Yeah,
No,
super
never.
expensive
We
back
couldn't
then.
afford that crap. We could barely afford the satellite that we had, but that was there because we lived out in the middle of nowhere and there was nothing to do. So I figured out how to record timer wise, and then of course you try and set it for just the 30 minutes, and then the show starts 2 minutes late, and then you miss the end of the episode, and it's not Dragon Ball Z where it's 5 minutes of recap, 10 minutes of episode, and 5 more minutes
Right.
of what's going to happen next episode.
Oh, really? Because I thought it was like 5-minute recap, 10 minutes of the show, and then after that, to be continued.
I mean, like, I just vividly remember in the Frieza era here, last time on
Oh
Dragon
my
Ball
gosh.
Z.
Not
And
gonna
then
lie.
it'd be half of what happened in the episode, and then you'd watch the episode, and then it'd be next time on Dragon Ball. It's like I could just watch every other episode and
Yeah.
I won't miss a thing. And I mean, that's also Funimation's fault because Oceans, when they did it, it had like 40 less episodes for the entire series, and Funimation just kept like shoving in those recaps to try and make the episodes longer so that they could make more episodes. It's like, how many extra discs did you add to the box set just so you could do it? You made the dub worse. You didn't have the over 9,000 line that everyone knows. This is
Oh, yeah.
just, it's sad.
Yeah. And
Let's
I mean,
see.
it was, oh, what does he say?
Telfer says, way back in the day, in the 90s, way back in the day, when I lived in Van Nuys, maybe?
Van Nuys, California.
I had a friend
good
who had a
times.
VCR taped shipped from Japan. Original
Whoa.
no dub OG here. We would watch, and he would translate. That
That's
has to
awesome.
be, you have the whole opposite of me. I'm just thinking how awful that must have been for the friend to be like, what he just said was what he said. What he said
I don't
was,
think he minded. I mean, this was the 90s when we didn't have any social media. We were just so glad to talk to people and translate. Like, it was like no burden at all. Now
he
it's
just
like,
said for the
you want to
last
translate? Use this.
what that guy just said for the last 30 seconds was, and then his hair turned yellow. It's nothing to translate. That white and purple guy's racist, keeps calling people monkeys. It's awful. Like, he just...
I was going to say, culture back then was so, like, man, 180 compared to what it is now. And I don't like to be that old guy that keeps saying back in my day, because I've been feeling like that this whole past couple months. I've just been like, back then it was so cool. Like, recently I've just been collecting physical media stuff, like a bunch of TV shows I used to watch as growing up, movies that I want to rewatch again.
That's how I could tell your camera was mirrored, because I was trying to read Code Veronica, and I was like, nope, that's mirrored. Flip that.
I've had that since that was like my childhood Resident Evil game, the first introduction for my like Resident Evil. That was that game. And I still have it from like over 12, 14 years. And that game still rocks.
I never owned the original PlayStation. So the
Oh no.
first, my parents were like, they didn't know anything about video games, but
Okay.
what they knew was the Nintendo was safe, quote quote. So like it was only Nintendo that could be bought. So my first and definitely favorite of all of them's 4. Like it's just sorry for all the way.
Oh yeah.
Um, I've 100% cleared the game over 50 times. And when I pointed that out at Base House or at NAM, Floof looks at me and goes, "That might be the most autistic thing I've ever heard in my life." And I was like, "Hello, Mr. Pot. Have you met Mr. Kettle? Let's just talk about this real quick." It's like it's a good game, and the more you clear it, the better stuff you get. You just keep getting more money.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And then
want to
there's so
play the
many.
game, except now I'm only allowed to use handguns the whole game. Well, what about this part where you're sniping? That's where you have the magic laser sight that can reach
Exactly.
300 feet and somehow is still the same size. It's magic. It's fine. Don't worry
Yeah,
about that.
I
I have
know
this
I've done that.
shotgun that can
Yep.
somehow reach 400 yards. I don't know how it works. It's fine.
Yeah, well, no, like I've done that for a couple of games too. Like, okay, I beat it now. Let me beat it with like just using this one thing, or let me just beat it maybe without using too much ammunition. Like I've done it for Code Veronica too. Like, um, I think last 2 weeks ago because I played it
I
on the
believe you mean Code Veronica 10. The
yes, Code
Roman
Veronica
numerals.
10.
It's not 2.
I think I played it with just using the handgun and I didn't use any other weapon, but that was hard. Man, that
Yeah.
was hard because like you got a bunch of boss monsters and I'm like, okay, well, let me like stock up on a bunch of handgun ammo and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, but
Yeah.
then I ran out of it and I'm just like, okay, maybe this isn't the best solution. So I just
I
always
will
been trying to
say
retry it and retry.
I really appreciate Resident Evil 4 on the fact that they were like, some people are going to play this like it's a Resident Evil themed Call of Duty, and that's okay. They can just have a
Yeah,
bunch of ammo and blow everything away. But then you have things like fighting the El Gigante, where it's like just make him stand next to a fire barrel, make it explode, and then you jump on his back and you magically pull out a knife and go.
yeah. Just keep doing this the entire time. Yeah.
Which I always found interesting. Like if you look at the game, you've got this random dude in a cloak who just happens to have like RPGs in his pocket. And
Yes.
and then it's like, why is this guy here? Why does that look like an arena? There's a bunch of barrels with resources. This is a boss fight. And then it's like, you got 30 grand. I got this RPG, which one shots like everything. And then you win and you get you win and you get, I think with the El Gigante on that first one, you get 15 grand. So it's like I lose $15,000, but I don't use any resources. So
Right.
why would you not? But then the dog helps you on the first one if you're not a jerk and leave it behind. So,
Yeah,
there's all
that's
that.
the best part of the game when you save
And
the
the
dog
remake
helps
and
you.
the remake is good. I loved the new remake. Like they did enough to make it where if you've played the game before, you know what you need to do, but they didn't just like take the game and just retexture everything. Although the
I see.
Resident Evil HD Project HD, which was done by independent people, and it took them years to redo the PC version. It's really cool too because they actually added in. So let's see. You play RE4 a lot before I go into that.
Yes. Yes.
So after you fight the 2 Chainsaw Sisters,
Yep.
you get outside of that arena, and there's like that weird long row to walk, and then the people start jumping out of like the second story guard
Yes.
tower. Right before that, there's a window you can jump through, and there's a ladder down, and you find, I think it's where you find the red gem, to go on the elegant mask. The people who made the HD project, there was like a window on this like basement level that you could see through it. And there was like a room on the other side, but there was like you couldn't get in there. And
Hmm.
it looked like the boards were breakable in the GameCube version. They just weren't. Um, they put it where the boards were breakable, and then right around the corner is like another ladder, and they added a whole new section with stuff that was in the game files but was never in the game. like there was a thing they made like a giant circular room with like a giant Plagas metal statue or things in it, and they just added in a whole bunch of stuff, and it's where they also put like the creator credits, like, oh, these people added to this thing and this and that. But well, the coolest thing for it is there's a room where you go in and there's two of like the silver briefcases. You open one, um, and I think it's like a 10,000 peseta stack of the gold bars, and then next to it is the silencer that you can only get when you play as Wesker.
Oh,
But they
okay.
made it where you can actually use it, so you can use the original handgun and just be like, and nobody notices you. So cool. I wish it was in the actual game, but like if you're bored and you own a copy of the PC version or you buy it on Steam, you can go to the Project HD, and they actually reworked everything, every single texture in the game. It's pretty fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'll look into it.
I cleared it like 3 times too.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, I'll end it here because it's already getting close to 5 p.m. for me where I'm at. But yeah, it
7
was.
for me.
Oof. Yeah, it was a nice hang.
Absolutely. Have
Yeah.
fun. You
Thank
didn't
you.
have
You
any
as
other
well.
final. You're not like Chris. You're about to leave and then you remember another company.
I mean, no, because like, I mean, personally, I started when I first played bass. I just started playing Squires and Fenders because they were just the most easily accessible instruments when you would first start. And even to this day, I would probably still buy used Fender, nothing new, because their quality control is just out of control. No pun intended. And
Yeah.
it's just been bad overall. Like my experience with the mic Kerr, and ever since then, after that, it just kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, Squire at least they do a good job, but like they haven't really been as innovative as they did back during the Rascal years. Like I felt
Yeah.
that Squire
Absolutely.
in that
They
year
hit
that
their
they
peak.
released, yeah, that year when Squire released the Rascal and the Sonic series, the P bass, the affordable P bass, that was amazing. After that, it just kind of fell off, and nothing interesting had came out after that. Because after that, they were just rehashing the same colors or same model, but nothing interesting. Like, oh, you're going to give us a model that's quote unquote limited edition with the matching
Yeah.
headstock of the body. Okay, but like, what happened to the Rascal? Like, are you going to make something similar to that? No,
Yeah.
but all they did that year after
Like
the Rascal,
they could have even just lazed it out and been like, hey, so people liked the Rascal. We're going to do the exact same body shape, but we're going to move the bridge and space the pickup so it can be 34-inch scale.
exactly. Like, do
Because like
something
that
like
was
that.
the only complaint I had on the Rascal, because I had one,
Same
and
here.
my only complaint on it was like it felt like I was playing a BASSics with 4 strings,
Yeah,
because it was the 30-inch scale, but there was so much body left at
there
the
is.
end of it that it was like, why do
Yeah,
I feel like I'm playing like at my chest with how far up.
yeah. My complaint about that is they should have made it medium scale instead of it long scale, just so they can accommodate that body shape and make it also look at least visually to where they had already mapped the layout of the pickup and the pick guard, but just make the body medium scaled instead of it being
Either
long
way,
scaled.
I mean,
I
again,
think that would have been
they
better.
had all the stuff. They could have just been like, okay, pickup route slightly different, mount the bridge here.
Yeah, there you go. And that would have been way easier.
They could have made it 5-string. Just
That's another
saying.
thing. Yeah.
If they
They don't
released that bass again today with medium or standard scale 5-string, I mean, because when those came out, they were what, 429, something
yeah,
like
somewhere
that.
there. Close to 500
So
range.
like, now granted, we're not even going to talk about the company, but like they're like, if they were making it now, it's probably $500-600. If they were to release, just make it all simple, a 5-string standard scale on that body. So all they do is
Mhm.
they move the bridge back 4 inches, bring the neck pickup down about half an inch, bring the other down about 3, pick guard, whatever. They could re-release that. If that was $600 to $800, I think they'd get a lot of interest if it wasn't, like, again, not counting what the company has going on right now. I think in today's market, that is even a standard scale or a medium scale. I have been talking to Cormac McGrath about a 5-string medium scale that's supposed to use some new hardware. I guess he designed a 12-way rotary switch for triple pickup designs. So I've been talking to him about maybe him sending us a demo whenever he gets one of those built. So that should be interesting. But I mean, again, a 5-string medium scale on the Rascal body, that body was big enough that it could accommodate a 5-string. Like they wouldn't have to have done anything but route the neck differently and move the pickups. But like they could do something like that. They just seem to have given up.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
Yeah, and that was pretty much what I have
And
to
that
say
was
about
when
that.
what was it? The Embassy? That was the one that Epiphone came out with too. That was like
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
body-ish, normal-ish shape Thunderbird.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's right.
I think Leah liked hers, and she was like, "It's the best Thunderbird ergonomically." It's like, well, when you're comparing something to a Thunderbird, that's
Right.
fair. But yeah, have fun.
Cool.
Welcome to join anytime we do it. Hopefully every week going forward. I know the
Yeah.
holidays killed all of them that I was gonna do.
Yeah, because 4th of July is coming up pretty soon, actually. So like about what, next week or two? Or yeah, next
Next
week.
week.
Yeah, next week. So that's gonna be interesting. 4th of
Saturday.
July weekend. Yep. And yeah, I'm hoping I can release content again. I just gotta make the effort to learn how to edit
But
for
say
DaVinci.
I've gotten you a couple things to record on anyway.
What's that?
Said I got you a couple things to record anyway.
That's true. Yeah, there's 3 videos in the backlog right now that just haven't been edited yet. So I know once I'm back putting more content on the channel again after a year, I'll at least have something to put out. But I'm still making content here and there. Like I bought the Yamaha BB424X, which was like the 2012 models before they went to what they have currently. And it's a very interesting compare and contrast to my current BB434. So that's going to be another video I want to do. So I have like 3 content ideas to go about reviewing not only my Yamaha that I've been playing a lot, but the new one that I just got recently for the 424X, just to kind of compare what it was back in the 2012s to what it is now modern.
Are you going
So
to
kind
do
of
anything on your Spectre?
not really. Probably just review it as is, like the instrument, like itself, and then that's
Sure.
pretty much it. I'll talk to the metal band to see if they'll be comfortable to maybe share a song that they're working on that I'm playing bass on to put on my channel. I'm pretty sure they won't be against it, but you just never know. You want to
Yeah.
ask,
Always
for clearance.
never hurts to ask.
Yeah, it never hurts
No,
to
I've
ask.
got I
Yeah,
have a few more in the pipeline for us. As soon as Close gets back to me on that one, I plan to pass it around to everybody in case anyone wants it. But I think there's about 4 or 5 more that I have lined up on the way. So
nice.
just
Yeah,
gotta
so
learn.
looking forward to
iMovie's a
it.
good backup in case you can't figure out the other one.
I was gonna say if my backup, if DaVinci isn't like gonna cooperate with me, it would probably be iMovie, but that's the backup.
But yep.
All right.
Have fun. See you
Thank
later.
you. Have a good night.
Okay. So that was fun. That was just over 2.5 hours, basically. So we're gonna, again, hopefully this is gonna continue to happen each week. If there's any craziness, I'll have to cancel, but hopefully there's not. But that's the end. Don't have anyone else. Let me make sure that nobody else has said they wanted to come in and join. So there we go. Gonna sign it off here. So as always, thanks for stopping by and thanks for watching. Hope you have a day as awesome as you are.